Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is What Goes Around. It was written by Marcus D. Bone, and I will be the game master. It's a one-shot, and this will be our fifth version. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Arkham is a haunted city with many strange events taking place, especially around the 1920s. It's no wonder, it's no wonder then that groups of amateur investigators crop up from time to time, and occasionally they have connections. One such group is the Clamflat Boys. They take their investigations quite seriously, while at the same time having a lot of good, clean fun along the way. It's May 17th, 1924, still a little chilly, so people have coats and boots to stave off the early morning cold. It's been an all-nighter for some of the Clamflat Boys. They have been putting the final touches on their report of a fake haunting in Bolton. They finally choose to call it a night, or morning rather. It's 5:30 a.m. on a Saturday. As they leave Corbin Hall, the sky above the trees is turning red towards the east, even though the sun is still below the horizon. So you guys are all stepping out of the back door of Corbin Hall, locking it, and you're in the back parking lot.
Oh, I think we did a great job with that case. I'll treat you all to some New England steamers later tonight after we get some sleep.
I'm going to need it because, oh man, it's going to be a pain to reset my circadian rhythm before Monday.
I've dealt with too much steam after there were all those projections on the mist. Jeez, that's a tough one.
Oh yeah,
some people
phony
just have no style.
Yeah, you really came through there with debunking that with your magician skills there. I would have never noticed those things that you were pointing out.
Hey, got me kicked out of San Francisco. It can get me anywhere.
Hey, keep reminding us why we keep you around.
This time of the morning, there's almost no activity. This part of the town, the Merchant District, there's shops on the ground floor, and there are little apartments above. This time of the morning, everybody's sound asleep. I would like you all to do dex rolls.
10 under 45.
Success.
I got a 4.
Success.
I'm not a very dexterous man, but I got lucky this time.
Any failures?
No, hard success.
All right. As you guys are chatting and moving across the parking lot, without warning, there is tremendous ba-boom. And down the street, a short distance, there is an explosion. One of the shops has literally exploded. Flaming debris is going everywhere. Shattered glass is raining down in the street. You're almost knocked off your feet by the blast. You can all do luck rolls to see if you're hit by any shrapnel.
Oh my God.
I failed.
That's
75
negative.
luck, and I failed.
That is a 000 crit fail.
Okay. Jason, you are hit by a flying piece of wood. You'll do 2 hit points of damage. If you failed otherwise, just take, you get hit by broken glass. There are flaming bits all around you. You probably take just 1 point of damage.
Oh, God. What was that?
Jesus Christ.
Jason, are you okay?
Mr. Kimball.
There's a wood plank stuck to his face. He pulls it out, a nail like slightly going through his scalp. Be like, oh my God. Sorry.
Hold on.
I fell asleep for a second.
This can't be any worse than shrapnel in the water, bud. Let me help.
Easy there.
There are flaming pieces of wood in the street. The building is catching fire.
We
what
got to
you
go
guys
put
do?
it out.
I want to try and help treat Jason's wound first and foremost.
Okay. You gonna do first aid on him?
I'll
Yeah.
run ahead with Philip then.
Okay.
People need help.
I ran I rolled a 54 over 50. I'll spend 4 luck to pass that.
Okay. So you can get back one of your hit points. You run across the street. It's not very far down. It is the Hayrite jewelry store that has exploded. The Hayrite jewelry store does not have apartments above it. It's a large building, 2 stories. One that you guys are all somewhat familiar with if you've ever bought your girlfriend jewelry or your wife wedding rings or whatever. It's a fixture in town. There's other things next to it. By the time you get there, and it's literally across the street, lights all up and down in the apartment buildings all around you have lit up because it was, pretty earth shaking. The whole thing is engulfed in flames on the inside. You can see the flames shooting up and dancing around. There are pieces in the street. There are a couple of shattered windows in other shops across the street where debris hit them.
Is there a payphone anywhere nearby? Jason will try and run to phone the police, fire department.
There's one down the street. Okay.
Can I try booking it?
Yeah, so you run down the street towards that. So who's running up to the building itself?
I'm trying to hear if anyone's calling out for help.
Right.
So yes.
Okay.
I'm behind the others because I had to treat Jason,
Right.
but afterwards, I'm not following him to a phone. I'm going to the store.
Okay. I would like then Philip, Hank, Henry, and Earl to do spot hidden rolls.
Extreme. O2.
Was that a pass, Henry?
Yes.
Okay. And Philip? I can't hear you. You did.
Sorry, I failed.
Okay. For Earl and Philip, as you're running up, you can see that the whole insides is in flames. You can hear the sounds of breaking glass. An explosion like that, it was probably gas or something like that. These buildings all have gas. But Hank and Henry, as you are looking into the shop, at first you think you see a kind of mound of blackness in the middle of it. And it starts to move. And you can see it sort of moving. It almost has, it's big. It almost has an animal-like shape as it moves towards the broken window. And it comes out of the window onto the pavement. It's almost like it catches blue fire. And it steps out, and it's a monstrous looking sort of dog-like creature. Its eyes are flame blue. It's probably at the shoulder about 7 or 8 feet high. It steps out through the window, and it immediately sort of rears up and moves its head side to side, like it's trying to get its bearings. And then it turns and starts moving west down the street at a fairly slow, leisurely pace. You guys can do sanity rolls. Philip and Earl and Jason, you see nothing. You've seen nothing out of the ordinary.
I failed.
I passed my sanity roll. Jesus,
Okay.
Barry and Joseph.
If you pass, take 2 points of damage. If you fail, take 4. I mean, take a roll of 4-sided dice, I mean.
A bear.
Some kind of...
Must be a bear.
It seems to almost be glowing with, like, St. Elmo's fire, like little lightnings of purple all over it as it's walking away.
That's no bear, Hank. It's a devil. Never seen the likes of which in my life.
What the hell are you talking about?
It looks dangerous.
Philip,
Devil? What?
just there.
Jason, before you get halfway to the phone booth, you start to hear sirens in the background. Obviously, there's a bunch of people, and people are coming out of their houses now and coming out into the street in their night clothes.
So, sweating with blood running down his face, he's trotting, and wheels right back around on the other side of the street to get back.
Hank, do you have a camera?
I'll roll luck for that. Yes, I have a camera.
Okay.
Well, let's try to get a photograph.
Okay. I'll try and take a picture of this monster.
Okay.
Steady does it.
Do you have photography?
No.
Well, let's use luck then. Roll for luck on it.
That is a hard.
Okay. You pull out the camera. It's probably got a you're probably not going to use a flash. You have to set up a flash. Maybe it's instinctual. Maybe you very quickly put in a light, a flash bulb, and take the picture. When you take the picture, the thing stops for a moment in the road, and it turns its head, and for just a moment, it glares in your direction. Henry, do a luck roll.
It's a success.
Okay. You don't know for sure whether it looked at you or not, but Hank, you're sure that it looked at you. And then it turns and continues walking on down the street. It's now maybe 100 feet away from you.
You can't see the bear?
Oh, God.
What the hell are you talking about? And I'm going to go into the store to make sure.
No, store's on fire. It's
okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in there, bud.
Can't quite get near the store.
So then I'm just going to back up and wait for the fire department or whatever.
Looks like we're not sleeping yet. I need to get this developed.
I don't think I'll sleep for another 2 weeks.
But what are you guys going on about? Like, what did you see? What did you take a picture of?
That beast that came out of the store.
It's like a flaming blue fire. It's like a bear. It's something terrifying. It looked at me.
The others can't see anything, but you can still see it. It's not running away. It seems to be walking somewhere, and you can see it keeps sniffing the air. But soon it's going to turn at the end of the street. It's heading west at the moment, but it looks like it's going to turn.
Now, is anyone else on the street?
Yeah, people have come out of their houses. They don't notice it. Nobody seems to be reacting to it. Most people are standing in front of their shops, clutching their children or whatever. You hear the fire engine coming, the police coming, and very quickly, they appear at the end of the street, and they come up and they park, and they start trying to put out the flames.
Getting an idea of direction, would Jason have run past the thing as it was walking down the street, or were they going in opposite directions?
You went in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Well, Henry, this is our only chance to chase that thing. See what's really going on. We're the only ones that can see it.
Are you feeling adventurous, old boy?
Yeah, but let's keep a safe distance.
I concur. Let's go. Let's get a look.
It's absolutely strange how no one else can see it.
So, Philip, Earl, and Jason, your friends are acting rather strangely. They keep talking about something that they can see, but you don't see anything.
Did Hank get hit in the head too? I thought it was just me.
I think we might be dealing with a case of some of what Philip might be familiar with, stage tricks. Maybe they're standing at just the right angle with the trick of the light to be able to see some kind of illusion.
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't know why they're following this, and it's very. We've solved so many fraud cases. I don't know why they're getting so invested in this.
Henry is going to run as quickly as he can with his assistance from his hardwood cane.
Okay.
Hank, let's make haste.
Yep.
So Hank and Henry start running down the street in the direction of whatever they think they see. You guys just see them leaving the scene. You know what they said. By now, the firefighters are here. The cops are starting to ask people questions. What happened? They'll eventually ask you, what did you see? What happened? And you probably just tell them that there was an explosion, but you have no idea. Did you see anyone around? No, you didn't. So while you're there, Hank and Henry, Hank, you're a little faster because Henry's got a cane. The creature turns the corner, and once again, it sort of sniffs the air. There's a couple of moments when it sort of bounds forward, a couple of leaps, and then it stops and it smells the air again. And you realize that it is about to enter the cemetery at the end of town. It goes up. There's a wrought iron fence around the cemetery with large pilasters. It goes up to those, and without skipping a beat, it leaps. It leaps and it lands, halfway on a pilaster, halfway on the fence itself, for a moment, hovering there above, and then it leaps down into the cemetery and starts walking once again.
Oh my God, Henry! What a graceful beast!
Where's it gone, old boy? I was a little behind you.
It's going into the cemetery. The gates closed?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, there should be good sight lines in the cemetery if you want to spy where it's going.
Yes, let's be careful.
So you watch it. It's walking through the middle of the cemetery, and something begins to happen. The sun begins to wink above the horizon. The light starts to shine through the tops of the trees and work their way down. And as the light increases, the thing seems to fade into the background. And once the light is up, it's vanished.
Do my eyes deceive me, boy? Did that just disappear?
Oh, no. Shared delusions aren't a thing. I saw the same thing.
Unbelievable. This might be our big break. A big break for the Clam Flat boys. We've discovered something real.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Sleep is going to have to wait.
Sleep is for the weak.
So what do you guys want to do?
We'll head back. I at least would head back to the rest of the group.
Right. So back at the building, they've been dousing it with water. People are milling around. There comes a point where the police and the firemen are like, there's nothing you can do, folks, go back inside. The only exception to that is a couple of the merchants who had the fronts of their shops damaged. They're going to have to find some way to board up their broken windows and so forth. But there's generally just a lot of milling around. Eventually, as you're standing there, you see Hank and Henry walking back towards you from the direction that they came.
No, Hank, there's a lot of history right there in that store.
Oh,
I bought
yes.
my wife her wedding ring there 50 years ago.
Well, me too. 20 years ago. The owners, I hope they're okay. Well, they should be at their home.
The owner, when you purchased your wedding rings, was Avery Haywright. Everybody called him Old Man Haywright. Of course, they probably didn't call him Old Man Haywright 50 years ago. But, you recall he was a fairly shrewd businessman, and he wasn't above haggling over the price of something. But he wasn't exactly what you would call, a nice guy. He was a businessman. He died last year.
Old Haywright.
Any heirs?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
His daughter and son-in-law own the shop now.
He was a fair man, but he was a wily old bastard.
It's a catastrophe for his family with this real estate damaged.
So you two going to tell us more about your little rabbit chase or what?
Look, I'll develop the photos and you'll see it. I'm sure.
The picture is worth 1,000 words, Earl.
All right. Go ahead.
What exactly did you see? Could you please elaborate on that a little bit?
It was this flaming bear about 7 to 8 feet tall, and it seemed disinterested in everything, following a scent.
It was a beast, straight from the pits of hell.
And I swear on my life, I am not lying. This is not a delusion. Henry saw it too.
He speaks the truth, boy.
You're both 100% sure.
110%.
Absolutely certain.
Well then, I've never doubted the word of a clam flat boy. Let's see those photos.
All right.
Let's get them developed, Hank.
All right. I'd say most likely Hank develops his own photos in his basement. Otherwise, you'd have to send them away and you wouldn't get them back for a week. So what do you all do? Head over to Hank's house?
Take a nap.
We can head into
you
the
guys
hardware
are very
store.
tired.
I've got some couches in the basement. If you want to hang out there.
I think that's a good idea. Do you have any port?
Yep.
I'm going to need a drink to calm these shaking nerves.
All right. Don't tell the wife.
Would Hank have a library of books just personally owned for folklore, mythology, or anything in his house?
Sure.
Yeah, I think Jason is no stranger to going to bed at 6 or 7 in the morning as a waiter working nights. So I think he might look up, like try and go through mythology or other things to find bears or large deities, things associated with flames. Maybe it was just something he read that stuck out to him.
So give me some idea of what you're going to look into.
Would rolling occult be worthwhile to look into mythology or presence of animals or flames?
Well, I mean, it'll come down to an occult roll, but I'd like you to tell me what sort of, I mean, occult's a huge, field. Mm-hmm. So I would like to know if you come up with something yourself. Not necessarily what it is, but what sort of mythology are you going to look into?
Right now, my head is going towards Fenrir, maybe Norse mythology. Specifically, Loki has appeared as a flame creature several times as a trickster. So something like that, as my head is going Norse.
All right. So Scandinavian mythology. I mean, yeah, you find things that vaguely might be something like this. Loki, as you mentioned, Fenris the wolf. I mean, all those things make sense. Of course, you didn't actually see the thing. Mm-hmm. So
right, I'm just going off of Frank's
it seems
testimony.
to you that you can come up with something probably off the top of your head that people who lived in areas where there were bears and wolves often had bears and wolf deities. So, and they described something that looked like a bear, a wolf, something like that.
Hmm.
Glowing with blue flame. All right, so you do that, and give me a constant. Well, you said that you stay up late, so maybe you don't just fall asleep in the process.
Well, I would definitely roll a con roll just before I start blinking out. I think after taking a plank to the face, he is not feeling awesome. That is a 59 under 60 con.
Okay, so you can decide whether you go to sleep or not. You did just spend hours putting together paperwork, so
I think I'm nodding off very, very hard, and I choose to fall asleep. That's the important part.
Okay. Hank, it takes you about an hour, and you end up ruining a lot of the film, because in order to process, you have to process all of it. And I'm not saying you ruined the picture. I'm saying that you had a lot of shots in there that hadn't been taken yet, and you had to sacrifice them in order to develop the photos. When you take the photo, when you look at the photo and develop it, at first there's nothing there. There's a bright spot, like a blur, that's in that area. You think, though, it looks odd. Some photographic material sometimes has a watermark, and it almost feels like the watermark on the back of the paper is bleeding through just a little bit. But you see something that kind of looks like a bright triangle in the middle of the bright spot. But it's got to be an optical illusion, or it's got to be something, but you don't see a giant wolf bear.
What do you see, boy?
Well, take a look at this. Let's step out of the dark room. This is most peculiar. It's a triangle in a mass of bright light, but no spirit or bear beast that we saw earlier.
But I was there. I saw you got the picture. Perfect.
Oh, yes.
Well, what are the other boys going to say? They're going to think we're fibbing.
At least we have something.
I would
all of my
assume-
other pictures do not have this bright light with the triangle. I can even say I've got a photo of my family in the same role, so we can compare that.
Yeah, but what will Philip say? He'll say it's a trick of the light, an illusion.
I doubt Philip could wrap his head around the truth of the matter, really, because this is an illusion.
Yes, he can't handle the truth.
Hey, Philip is just half asleep, throwing axes at a target on the wall. Just like,
oh, you weren't meant to hear that, boy.
I would assume that stepping out of the dark room, that's the basement, and that's where the couches are. So that's where I'm sleeping. So I'm going to roll a listen roll to see if their conversation wakes me up.
Okay.
I failed. I'm fast asleep.
All right.
Oh!
Oh dear. You got the photos.
We've developed the photos.
Let me see.
I do warn you, I hate to disappoint you, but there is no bear, but there is this peculiar photographic anomaly.
But there was a bear. There was a bear, I swear.
I grab the photo. I examine it. There's like a good 10 seconds of me just looking at it with a face of scrutiny. And then I look up, eyebrow raised, and hand it back. Well, may not be a bear, but it's certainly something. And I can say one thing for sure. Whether this is an illusion or some sort of spirit, something sinister is going on, and we should investigate it.
Yes, and we know where to go looking for it.
Spoken like a true clam flat boy.
Right, we can't be phased.
I'll be honest, I'm not completely sold on this being a real spirit, but there's something fishy afoot here.
In due time, my boy.
Earl, do an intelligence roll.
92.
How smart are you? No.
I think I've got 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not spending that much luck.
Looking at it, you almost think your mind tries to come up with explanations. And the most you could come up with is maybe there was a traffic sign on the side of the road that the flash bulb reflected in and kind of put a blind spot. So maybe the triangle is part of a letter, or it doesn't suit you as an explanation, but that's what your mind reaching for some sort of explanation, what it could be. It doesn't look like a giant bear creature.
So what do you think, Earl?
And you wonder if Hank and Henry have been drinking.
I'll be honest here. I can't really think of a suitable explanation, but as I was saying before, even if this was an inconvenient fracture of the light to a traffic sign, you swear you saw something, and I believe you. And this was just after a catastrophic explosion. So whether it's a spirit or not, I'm going to put my faith in you and continue to look up this tree.
What kind of spirit or animal is heralded by fire and destruction? Maybe we should look that up.
Well, I tell you, this was not a traffic sign. Mark my words.
Well, let's put that pedal to the metal.
All right, so let's move ahead. You guys eventually get some rest. Maybe some restless rest because you're trying to figure out what happened. Plus, you went through a moment of trauma when the bomb went off or the explosion went off. We'll say that you all sort of, wake up and come around by 10 a.m. I forget, did Jason, you went off to your own place?
No, I fell asleep in one of Hank's downstairs chairs with a Norse book just draped over my chest.
Okay. So you all kind of wake up and get some breakfast. What do you want to do?
Well, for one, order a big cup of coffee.
I think coffee and biscuits are in order.
Yes.
As a matter of course. But then right after that, we've got to go to the last known location of that demon.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I also think even though we spent all last night at a Corbin library, we should go back because they probably have some more information about what we saw. And
well, this certainly won't be the first time that we just go there back to back in a matter of hours.
That's true.
Why, we've got keys to the place.
And they're kind of in a line, so you have to walk back in that direction anyway to get to the library and to the cemetery from where you are. All right, so you guys have breakfast. You're still a little tired, a little groggy, but you're awoke and you're kind of exhilarated and excited. So as you walk down the street, you are heading once again for the place where the explosion went off. I keep saying bomb, it's not a bomb. It's the way I visualize it in my head when the thing exploded. You get there, and of course they've managed to put the fire out. They did that earlier. There's still some smoldering going on. There are a number of firemen that are going through the rubble. The fire chief is there. You probably know him. And there's maybe a couple of policemen that are there just to keep people across the street. There are people nailing boards on their windows and gossiping back and forth amongst themselves, with what happened early in the morning. You guys want to do?
I'd like to ask the fire chief what he thinks caused the fire or the explosion. He's an expert in the matter.
I was just about to say that.
So you go up and you have to he's just inside. And of course, as you step inside, the walls are all charred black. There were display cases, most of which were empty because they put the jewelry away at night. But they're all charred and damaged. And he tells you that, he says, well, Hank, it looks like it was probably a gas explosion, a gas leak or something like that caused the explosion. From even from last night, what you said, the violence of the explosion sounds like a gas explosion. Unfortunately, there is a casualty. And he sort of glances over, and you can see that there's a tarp that's been put down until the coroner gets here. We had to track down Mr. Haywright and tell him that his wife was in the explosion. He seemed extremely upset and said that she had come down to open up, to get things ready for opening in the morning, that she often did that, and that he's beside himself. He came down, surveyed the damage, and then he went back home. But I think he's a little bit out of his mind at this point.
Do you suspect foul play, or is this something?
Well, it doesn't
just
look
an
like
unfortunate
it.
accident.
It looks like there must have been a gas leak, and she caused it to go off.
It's a shame. Was she a smoker?
Oh, everybody's a smoker, but yeah. He says, anyways, he's sort of pointing things out in here to you. You guys are all there. I'd like you all to spot hiddens.
2 away from a heart, if needed.
I got a heart.
02.
02.
Dracula.
Anybody beat 02? Okay.
1 point of luck.
So those of you who look around, you can see the tarp, and maybe there's a hand that's flopped out from under the tarp. It's obviously a charred human hand. But Earl, you notice something else in the back of the shop, something pretty much impervious to the flames is a large standing safe, maybe 6 feet tall, 3 feet wide, which is obviously what they kept their stuff in. Looks like it might be slightly open.
And we're in here with the chief of the fire department, correct?
Right, and there's people wandering about a little bit. There's one of the firemen over by the body who apparently just took a look, and he's grossed out. You guys are all known to everybody, so you guys can get away with a lot. You guys are investigators as far as everybody's concerned.
Oh, so we can check the body then?
They're asking your opinion on things, yeah.
Yeah, did you see anything out of the ordinary, Earl?
Well, that safe looks like it's relatively unscathed, and it's a pretty big safe, but if you look at this, and I go up to it, put my finger on the door, and then slide it open, because presumably it would.
Right.
The door was ajar.
Now hold on. If anything's missing, then it might be foul play.
Indeed.
So inside the safe, there are a number of small, flat, black, looks like they might be velvet, or they're hard velvet boxes. And you can guess that inside them are going to be all their jewelry that's there. If you use the tip of your finger and sort of lift the lid on one of them, you can see that there's jewelry in there. It doesn't look like anybody's tampered with them. But as you look around, or as you're sort of glancing around, up on the top shelf, kind of underneath one of these books, is a file folder that seems to have some things in it.
This folder might be worth flipping through. I'm not personally one to sit around and appraise every piece of a dead man's jewelry, but who knows?
Oh, what does it read, Earl?
When you open up the file folder, there are a number of pieces of information in it. A few things, documents, about banks and stuff like that, things that don't look particularly unusual. You can do an accounting roll.
Okay. That is a 2 points away from a hard success.
Okay, that's good enough. Their books look like they're pretty much in order, the papers that are there. There are 3 things that are very unusual. One is there is a letter from, it looks like a travel agency. And I should mention that the current owners are Valerie Haywright, Avery's daughter, and her husband, John Burton. So John and Valerie own the place now.
Valerie, the deceased?
Yes, Valerie is the deceased. There's a travel a piece of paper in there, and there's a couple of very odd things. There is an old looking piece of parchment, and it's covered in some sort of bizarre foreign language. And there is also a small piece of paper that looks like it's a much more modern piece of paper that is also covered in some strange foreign language.
Whoa. This looks mostly in order, but my clam sensors are going off at these particular subjects here, fellas. Check them out.
Do a spot hidden for me too, Earl.
Okay. That is a hard pass.
Okay. On the top of the old piece of parchment, there is this little strange figure that is like a triangle and a almost a U shape above it. Very
Does it look
odd.
kind of like the triangle I saw in the photo?
Maybe part of it. In any case, at the moment, nobody is looking in your direction.
Nobody, or nobody that's like outside of the clan.
Nobody that's outside you guys' circle.
I'm going to quickly spirit those two bits out of the folder, put that back, but then
3 bits, yeah.
Yeah, and show these unusual bits to the boys in a bit of a huddle.
Right.
You reckon it was something important? Well, what is it?
Well, I don't know, but I've never seen a kind of writing like this, and the accounting, it all looked in order, but this just, I don't know, foreign travel, unusual looking language. I mean, this might be nothing, but it also might be everything. And look, there's this weird looking triangle, and it honestly vaguely looks like the one in your photo.
You might want to do that part in private.
Well, now, hang on a second. I mean, you're telling me a jewelry store exploded, wife is inside dead, their books look mostly in order, and there's travel papers in the back. This kind of sounds like maybe husband did it, had an insurance policy. I don't know if we should get too excited right now. I mean, I love a good mystery as much as the rest of y'all, but...
I don't know about that. Maybe. But on the other hand, I have a crazy theory, right? You know how there's
always
some...
do.
You always do.
Hey.
Are you guys discussing all this in front of the police and the...
No.
Let's scuttle out once I show them the papers and
the library is across the street. Yeah.
Well, we should check out the body first.
Okay. Those of you who look at the body, do a Constitution roll.
Not my strong suit.
I don't want to see
17.
do I
I actually passed that.
Okay.
with war experience, do I get some kind of bonus?
Yeah, you would. You don't need to. You've seen horribly mutilated bodies. Basically, it's obviously a woman, but there's no way to really tell from the person itself. You can tell from the overall shape of the body. Valerie has been pretty thoroughly burned. She's also received numerous lacerations and other things from somebody who would be in an explosion. But you can also do a spot hidden for me.
I'm wondering if there's like bear claws.
this poor girl.
Regular
04.
success.
Same here.
Yeah, extreme.
Extreme.
Nice. 04. You don't see any kind of bear claws. We'll say you kind of hunker down on your haunches so that you can take a closer look. At first you're not sure, but after sort of, moving the charred pieces of cloth a little bit of ways and so forth, you're pretty sure that she was wearing some sort of a necklace. But the necklace has been probably shattered by the heat.
So there's like scarring on her neck
Yeah,
where the explosion. Okay.
right. And well, no, it doesn't look like her chest exploded. It looks basically like she had on a piece of jewelry, and the heat itself probably melted
It got
it.
burned onto her skin.
Right. It got burned onto her skin.
Like a zipper after being struck by a lightning bolt.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Morbid
and there's no
description.
sign of liquid metal that's cooled around the area of where her body lies.
No.
So this necklace, it just must have been vaporized.
It was small. It wasn't very large.
Any patterns in the skin?
No. For a moment, let's go back to some of the accounting, because maybe Earl can't keep his eyes off of the numbers.
I'm probably definitely like, well,
Yeah.
we're both investing in the body. I'm not getting as hands on as them, and I'm like pulling the papers out of my pocket and like,
Earl, that in business, people have to cut corners. And as you're sort of glancing through the paperwork, especially if you go back into the earlier stuff, like when Avery was running the shop, he was purchasing materials at, I'll just give an example. He'd purchase the materials at $1 and he'd sell it for $50.
oh wow, to that
So
extreme of a ratio.
He was buying some of the cheapest jewelry. You now start to wonder if the rings that any of you are wearing are actually genuine, or I mean, it's what you would do if you're trying to get ahead, but he wasn't above that. So he had a level of dishonesty when he was running the shop. That sort of, it doesn't completely disappear in the more modern stuff, but it's definitely lessened, as if John and Valerie were trying to legitimize some of the cheap outs that their father had done.
I'll take note of that, but I'm not going to say anything until we're out of the scene.
Okay. All right. So you guys leave. You're going to go across the street back to the library.
Sure. Hank, what did you see? I can't stand to see Valerie like that. She was a good woman.
She had a necklace on before the explosion, because it might have vaporized the necklace, leaving that scarring on the neck from the burn.
Well,
Girl.
I have a theory, and this is a long shot, but have any of you either heard of piezoelectricity?
What now?
It's a phenomenon in which certain crystals, when they're compressed or put under stress, will emit an electric charge. So maybe, this is crazy, but maybe if she took out that necklace and did some thing to it, it created a spark that ignited the gas leak.
Wait,
She also could have lit up a cigarette.
Philip,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the burns were on her neck, that means that the necklace was definitely still attached to her if and when any piezo electricity was involved.
Well,
Philip, do you mean to say that one could squeeze electricity out of stones?
that's correct. It's what they have in those barbecue lighters. Oh shit.
What?
Barbecue.
I'm no scientist, but that sounds like a bit of rubbish, if you ask me.
Well, I'm not a scientist either. I'm just
And you all scoffed when I said the husband did it. I see how it is.
Well, here's something to note. So we're in the library now.
All right. So go ahead.
I was just gonna start talking about the what I saw.
Okay. Well, I'll let me show you the three things so that you can see them. The first one is the smaller piece of more modern paper that seems to have some foreign language on it, and it looks like this.
Oh, is that Russian?
Looks
yeah,
like
I believe
Russian.
so.
Looks like it to me.
Okay. And then, let's see, let me stop for a second. The second piece is the old piece of parchment paper. Looks like this.
Now that looks like Greek. At least it's Greek to me, but
Wonderful. That's all we need right now. Comedy.
hey, I cope with humor. Leave me alone.
And as you look at it, that thing on the top, yeah, that kind of looks like the shape in the blur.
Looks like the Illuminati symbol upside down.
Hank, where you saw the necklace on Valerie, did her necklace look anything like that at the top of this page here?
Not at all. What her, you could only sort of piece together what it might have looked like, but it probably looked like, there's I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this. There's sometimes these little reliquaries that people used to wear in medieval times. They look like little balls on the end of a chain, and you could open them up and put stuff inside them and close them back up and wear that around. It looked kind of like a shattered sphere of some sort, like that. The third thing that you found is this.
Dear Mr. Burton, January 19th, 1924. Please find enclosed your travel itinerary. Be aware that your liner leaves port pending the last tide on February 3rd. You should arrive in Vladivostok, Russia by the end of February. As to your return trip, we are not able at this time to confirm the name of the liner which will be transporting you home, although we will certainly inform you once you arrive in Russia. Your return trip is scheduled for mid-April, per your request, which should have you home by the first week in May. We wish you a happy voyage, pleasant and safe, and hope you find Russia an exciting and wonderful place. Yours sincerely, Peter Dormantry, Travel Manager, Dormantry Travel Bureau.
So what? John Burton's a communist?
Good track with the first note that we saw there. I believe that to be Russian. Do you agree?
Well, I'm not really a linguist, but it certainly looks Eastern European.
Maybe we can start getting this translated from some of the professors at the Miskatonic.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sure the language department's got somebody that can make sense of this.
Would you all mind if I borrowed it? I can run that way and see if I can persuade someone into reading this to me.
Knock yourself out.
Go for it. Henry's not going to run.
My running days are over, bucko.
Miskatonic University is, I believe, just one block south.
Very close.
Of where you were.
Yeah, so just walking over to the Department of Languages.
Okay. It is a Saturday. That doesn't necessarily mean you won't find professors. Some of them actually live on campus. While you're doing that, what does the rest of you want to do?
Looking
boys,
up.
should we convene at the cemetery?
Well, we're at the library. We might as well take advantage of that now. Now,
Also,
maybe this bear, this spirit, is of Russian in origin. So I'm going to look up Russian myths.
Yeah, I think looking to maybe just the some Eastern European folklore in general might be well in order.
Seems like a good place to start.
Okay. Do a library roll. We'll have Hank do it. To the library roll.
That is a 10 out of 40.
Wow.
I'm going to spend. Should I spend 2? I'm spending 2 to make.
Oh, you don't need to spend 2. Don't spend
Okay.
2. So you start looking up Russian mythology, and actually, I should also make you do a luck roll, because do you guys even have anything on Russian mythology?
Group luck rolls, the lowest.
Yeah, who's got the lowest luck?
I have 51 right now.
I have 45, but I'm not there. So am I weighing them down?
I guess not. Yeah. Do 51.
62. So
Okay. You find a couple of references to Russian mythology, but nothing really solid. Basically, what you get from it is Russian mythology is just like any other mythology. There's all kinds of gods and deities and monsters. You're pretty sure, though, that Miskatonic University, they have an extensive occult section on world religions.
Oh, maybe to the Orne Library then, the Miskatonic.
well, assuming it's open right now.
Well, maybe we'll even catch up with Jason.
It is more or less open all the time because students are still there and they're doing their studies and stuff over the weekends. So
If anybody would have that stuff, it would be those guys.
I'll
right.
help Henry up.
well, let's just say that you all ended up going at the same time, since it's just a block over.
Oh, thank you, Hank. I'm not as spry as I once was.
Jeez, what walks
Anything
on
for
3
you?
legs in the evening, huh?
All right, so
Yeah, I heard that.
so Jason, you guys have all gone together. So you guys are there. Jason wants to go talk to a linguist professor. Does anybody want to go with him?
Well, if we're all here, I'll join him.
Okay. So you look on the directory and you see on the second floor, room 14B. You go up there and you knock on the door, and there is a professor inside. He's like, yes, come in. He's Professor Nick Kokolov. He says, so, gentlemen, what can I do for you?
You
Go ahead.
you familiar with these languages here? It's just I think this is Russian and Greek, but we're not really sure, and it's evidence to our case.
You show him the little piece of paper first, and he says, well, it's obviously Russian. He's like, oh, he wants me to translate this. Give me a piece of paper and a pencil. Let's see. I'll write this down. Oh, this is from, I recognize this. It is from a book called Darkness of the North. I don't remember offhand who the Sergei Romantov is the author. Let me hear. He writes it down and hands you the translation to take a look at. Here you go.
Want to read that, Jason?
Sure. Translation excerpt from Darkness of the North. The sons of Veles are the guardians of the soul, guides to the afterlife. To possess their secret sanctum ensures a safe passage to God. They are born from their father's love of all that is good in the world. Their sanctums are small, and they never leave them unless their owner dies. Then they emerge to carry the soul to God or to avenge a wrongful death.
Yes, it's you can find a more complete passage in the actual book. What do you have this for? Where did you get it?
Well, it's I don't want to spread too much details about it, just because it also is, we're working with the police on it. There was
part of an investigation then.
An active case, yes.
Yes, but it involved a recent incident in the Merchant District. I can say those details.
Now, what is this other thing that you have here?
Yeah, this document, and I produced the one with the triangle atop it.
He looks at it. His eyes go wide. This is also in Russian. The Cyrillic alphabet is Slavonic, but it's a very old, obscure Slavonic. My goodness. He pulls out another piece of paper and he starts to write on it. And he's like, this This will take me some time. I'm going to have to get down my lexicons. I mean, I speak fluent Russian, but this is Russian from a number of 100 years ago, maybe 400 years ago. The language changes quite a bit. If you leave this with me, I can translate it, but it'll take me a couple of hours.
That's fine. It may well take us a couple of hours to locate that book if we happen to have it in the stacks here.
Yeah, you should be able to find it fairly easy. All right, leave this with me here, and I will work on it.
You want any compensation for your work? Because I know translating archaic alphabets isn't exactly an easy thing to do.
This is. Where did you get this? This should be in a museum.
Well, once again, I don't want to say too many details, but it was found on the crime scene.
We'll put it this way. It may well end up in a museum after we're finished with it, with your name on the placard, too.
Yeah, it's very rare. Yeah, I'll be very careful with it.
Thank you, Kokolov.
So you head on back downstairs. What are the rest of you going to do?
We were looking in the library
Okay.
for books on Russian mythology.
Okay. There is a fairly decent section that has stuff on Russian mythology. And we'll assume that the others join you in the library. So what exactly do you want to look up in Russian? Like I say, it's almost as extensive as Greek mythology.
Sure. Jason is 100%. This is why he goes to libraries, so he doesn't have to look up the books. I would like to find a librarian with the title and author and try and ask them if they can help us locate the book.
Okay.
For Darkness of the North.
Okay. So, yeah, that's not too difficult. Maybe it's even Armitage himself who is assisting you find the book. But the rest of you were looking in mythology.
I want to look into Veles.
Veles. Okay.
Yeah.
You start looking through books. You finally come across information about Veles. Takes you a while, but you find this.
Information about Vales Volos. Veles and Perun are two deities found in the religion of the Slavs prior to the coming of Christianity. The pre-Christian Slavs were polytheists and worshipped the pantheon of deities, just like the ancient Greeks and Romans. Compared to the Greeks and Romans, however, the deities of the religion of the pre-Christian Slavs are generally less well known. Some Slavic deities, apart from Veles and Perun, include Dabog, regarded as the progenitor of the Slavs, Stribog, a god whose grandchildren are said to be all the winds, and Marana, the goddess of winter. Amongst these gods, only Veles and Perun were commonly respected and worshipped by all Slavic tribes. Veles, also spelled Volos, was a forest god who appeared most often as a bear, although he is thought to be capable of shapeshifting into other types of animals as well. One possible explanation for the representation of Veles as a bear is that this animal was regarded as the king of the animals. However, in the belief system of the Southern Slavs, Veles was regarded as the lord of all wolves and was seen as a wolf god. He has also appeared as a great serpent, a disguise used to hide from his enemy, Perun. Perun, for all intents and purposes, is the god of thunder and lightning. He is also a god of light who resides at the crown of the world tree. According to the myth, Veles abducted Perun's wife and children and took them down into the roots of the world tree, the underworld. Enraged, Perun chased him, hurling lightning bolts. Veles transformed into a serpent and went in and out of the earth in order to hide. It is said anytime a lightning bolt hits the earth, it's a place where Veles chose to hide. Perun is often said to represent order, while Veles represents chaos. Veles has been associated with other deities such as Loki and Romanov's Darkness of the North, and Nyarlathotep the crawling chaos in von uns unausprechlichen Kulten.
Because of your background in Arkham, you can do an occult roll to see if Nyarlathotep, the name, comes up at all.
Ooh, hard pass.
In your mind.
I can make it an extreme if I needed
to. No. You do definitely think that name is associated with Keziah Mason, the witch.
I'm going to lean over to Earl and say, hey, this might be associated with the Keziah Mason myth. You see Nyarlathotep here. That's related to her, isn't it?
Not Nyarlathotep. Keziah Mason, really? What is the connection? Please show me this passage.
Then I'll show it to him.
Mm-hmm. Looking at this, should I make that a cult roll as well?
I mean, no. I mean, you guys have. It's probably a name that's come up. I mean, it's very obscure.
This.
Oh boy, Earl.
This isn't the first time I've seen that name.
Yeah, I think I've seen it in association with some other stuff, but
there's also a number of pieces of photographs in some of these books, especially the one on mythology. One that shows Veles, a number of different versions of Veles, but this is what they look like.
Oh, there's the symbol again.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it assumes a guy somewhere between a wolf and a bear?
And also a serpent.
So this Veles is opposed to Perun, who is supposedly the god of light. So the curious thing was when Henry and I were at the graveyard, just when sunrise happened, the bear disappeared.
Yeah,
well,
he disappeared when the sun came up.
Interesting. I think, we should go back to where you saw it once the sun sets. But another thought that's coming into my mind, one of those notes said something about a father's love and the guardian going back to whence it came once its host had deceased. The question that comes to mind here is if this is some serious, Keziah Mason occult shit, that I don't know, maybe there was some kind of foul play involved, caused that gas leak explosion, and what you saw was this guardian.
It's utterly supernatural.
Mr. Lawson, all roads lead back to Keziah Mason, don't they?
They truly do. They truly do. And this Nyarlathotep.
Well, I suppose let's see if Keziah Mason and Nyarlathotep are a match for the Clam Flat Boys.
Truly.
Who was it who was talking to the librarian? Okay, Jason. Without much difficulty, Armitage finds the book and hands it to you. They've both got the Russian version and the English version, the translation. And this is what it is. Sorry for the length of some of these handouts.
Right. The son of Veles, the guides of death, the guardians of the soul, the bringers of revenge. The sons of Veles are known by all these names, and yet the people of ancient Russia do not fear them. Many of the old stories tell of the wicked deeds of men that would go unpunished, how the Slavs killed the Cossack and the Magyar slaughtered the Chechens, or how women and children were trampled down by horses or burnt in their homes. But the people believed that once these wicked men were dead, would at last pay for their sins. Veles, the god of the underworld, as punishment for their crimes, would not allow them to sleep eternal. Veles hated the chaos men wrought on each other, and wished rather that they danced or sang, made merry or made love. Above all, he loved animals, and those that treated flocks and herds with the respect they deserved. For it was not the herds that fed man. For was it not the herds that fed man? As a reward to those men and women who cherished his creatures, and he gave them gifts, sacred jewel containers, in which resided a son of Veles. These small reliquaries, although precious in life, were more so in death. As on the wearer's death, the son that resided within awoke and guided the departed to the loving arms of Veles. Unfortunately, today, these stones are long gone, vanished like those that worshipped Veles. The sons of Veles are described as large and immensely strong. To their charges, they appear as friendly beasts, but to others they are ravenous monsters. Invisible during the day, they always return at night to complete their one and only task. They never fail in all the stories that speaks of them except for one, the tale of the wicked thief. That tale speaks of an evil man on his deathbed who, by some vicious deed, had acquired a jewel of Veles. A virtuous woodsman learnt of this crime against Veles and prayed to the god for guidance. Veles, being a loving and caring god, heard these prayers and came to the woodsman, who in turn explained what had happened. Upon hearing this, Veles was full of sorrow, for although he did not wish for the evil man to enter the underworld, he knew his son would not be stopped from fulfilling his task, for this was the purpose he created it for. The woodsman asked if nothing could defeat the son of Veles, and the god cried out in sadness. Yes, he did know of a way of defeating his son, but he loved him almost as much as he loved mankind, and was so loath to reveal it. Yet Veles, the god, had little choice. An evil soul could not enter the underworld without balance and peace being lost in the world. And so, with tears in his eyes, the god told the woodsman the secrets of his son's destruction. That night, the evil man died. That night, as the evil man died, the woodsman lay in wait. And as the son of Veles appeared, the woodsman challenged it. With a large mirror, he confronted the sun by showing it its true reflection. As the beast stood gazing, the woodsman raised his bow and lit the head of one of his arrows. Taking aim not to miss, the woodsman let fly, striking the sun in the heart. How terribly did the son of Veles cry out, but it fell. Its task could not be completed. As it fled back to the arms of his father, it vowed that from that day forth its brothers would hunt to the ends of the earth those that harmed the true bearers of their jewels, so never again would a son fail in its task.
Sounds familiar.
Whoa, this is... Wow. Okay, we've got some sort of guardian being that it just disappears in daylight. That you, Hank, you saw jewelry on the corpse, or at least the imprints of some.
It looked like this necklace would have a container on it.
Oh,
perhaps
God.
This is the jewel.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, let's hear this. Some hooligan goes in there. Because these guys, according to those accounts I read, this business has always done a bit of some serious up marketing. Not as much as they did in the old days, but so much that old man Haywright was buying something for $1 when sell it for 50. So let's just say theoretically, maybe they wronged somebody at some point and they built a grudge. All these years later, maybe they do this, blow the place up, and that triggers this amulet. And assuming what you guys saw, I mean, well, I think we should watch the news for any further incidents. If we've got this thing out there, it's going to pursue whatever caused this incident.
And as I'm getting caught up on everyone else's notes between Veles and Perun, I'm getting a bit confused because they described him as Veles as a god of chaos and bears and serpents, yet all of this feels very shepherdy and ordered. But in opposing Perun, they say wherever he visits, it's like a lightning strike. If anything could start a fire, that sort of fits the bill, does it not?
Well, I think...
lightning strike on the jewelry store?
I would assume we would have seen it, but then again, I didn't see any spectral bears.
There were no clouds in the sky.
Precisely, but if this is a godly spat, then maybe we shouldn't rule much out, but that's just an idea.
Well, this is a godly spat. We should probably back away, but...
Why do you think I'm having that nice professor read the archaic script? I'm not going to do that.
John,
that's a good point.
John, do an intelligence roll.
John?
I'm sorry, Jason, do an intelligence roll.
Okay. That is a 22 under 50.
Okay. It does. You are somewhat aware because of previous research and stuff that you guys have done that translations are not always very accurate. There's the translator will hit a word and they don't know whether to translate it as bear or wolf or vermin or cockroach or anything like that. And so you have to take all of that with a grain of salt. Somebody else might translate, they might be confusing chaos and order. Because, like you say, in one document, he's described as chaos, in another as order. Or sometimes it sounds like he's good, sometimes it sounds like he's bad.
Sure, but it definitely sounds like this Veles is he's more druidic and beastie. That's Perun. None of you made mention of him having an animal-like form. So at least narrowed it down to one, and these sound like the guardians that are written about. If it was a stone, I don't know if they would have done anything to treat it or work with stones at the jewelry store, if maybe they were tinkering with something that backfired.
Well, I think one of our first orders on the docket here is in this book here. It says that one of the missions of these bears is to hunt down the person who wronged the bearer of one of these stones. How do we find out who that was?
I think she's still sitting in the jewelry store.
Well, she might be in the morgue by now.
And the other aspect is the bear comes out at night, right?
Yes,
So,
indeed. We got to be at that cemetery when the sun sets.
Yeah, it'll come back, assumedly, tonight.
Yeah, we'll stake it out.
So are we supposed to wait outside a cemetery holding a bunch of hand mirrors and just hope something screams?
Well, I don't think we should immediately get out the mirrors. I think we need to do some observations first because we don't really know the grand context of what exactly is going on. And also, we should definitely try and get some sleep before then because I don't know about you, but that coffee not entirely doing it for me.
And then
my good man.
And then there's the trip. What was the deal with that? He's going to Russia to.
Yeah, and you see, that's John Burton, and as far as I know, he wasn't in that explosion. So honestly,
The husband, right?
once we recollect ourselves at some point, I think it might be worth paying him a visit.
Oh, that's right. No, you did say Burton, but I thought John Haywright. Like that was Valerie Haywright. That was her body, right? So is that just a fake name?
No.
That was the brother.
Avery was the father, and he died last year. And
It is very late. I got hit by a plank in the head. I'm tired.
Oh, indeed.
So,
honestly,
do we know the cause of death for Avery?
I mean, not
Also
offhand.
explosion.
Okay.
Old age. Everybody do an idea roll.
93. I don't know what it is with me in intelligence.
42
roll,
out of 55. Success.
59. I can't quite grasp it.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to. It's not really a hint, but I just want to remind you that you live in a small town, and you've got other shops all around you, and some of you might have offhandedly known the Hayrights, but none of you knew them very well. But they're going to have neighbors. They're going to have other people in the town that know them. If you want to find out anything about the Hayrights.
I'll get on that. I'm good at interfacing with customers and people. If anyone wants to tag along.
I'll do the same. I'm really not the best. I'm pretty good at talking people and getting them to sign on to contracts, but when it comes to reading people, I'm a bit gullible.
Okay, so what next?
So I'm going to head over to the jewelry store and go to the store right next door. That's always been open because they probably talked.
Right. And they're probably busy this morning because their building was probably damaged a little bit by the fire.
Are they still patching up?
Yeah, this time of the morning they're not patching up, but they're they're sweeping, we'll say.
I'll pick up a broom and help out.
Okay.
Makes it and we can have some conversation.
Okay,
Neighborly
so
favor.
you're going to do that. What else?
Is there still a crowd around the outside of the blown out building, or has that been pretty much dispersed?
It's now to the point where people walk by and make comments, and there's probably a diner on the street that people might be chit-chatting about it.
I think,
And it's
Jason's
big
going to
news.
Jason's going to be in his element in the diner, just sort of weaving between tables, trying to fast talk and catch all the gossip that he can.
Okay.
I'm gonna go interview that the husband or brother or whatever.
The husband.
Husband, yeah, husband.
So just to clarify, Avery was the guy the old guy.
The father.
His daughter inherited the business, and she's married to John Bolton. So she's actually Valerie Bolton now.
So
But,
and
It's Hayright's jewelry store. So
Oh, I had that backwards. Okay.
and John Bolton's the guy that went to Russia recently and got back within like
Correct.
the last 2 weeks.
yeah, got back at the beginning of May.
Probably got his wife a nice piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
Just though I would say be careful in that conversation. I would say that if there was anybody that had a halo of suspicion over them, it'd be old John Bolton.
Don't worry, no one can outfox the Majesto.
Who is going to hang around the university to get the translation in probably 45 minutes or so?
Jason shakes Henry. Are you awake? You awake, old man?
What? I wasn't asleep. But yeah, if you boys are all tied up with something else, I'll talk to the man with the translation. And where should I meet you?
We'll meet back up at my hardware store.
Get some lunch.
I'll meet
Yeah.
with about 45 minutes or an hour and get the translation and bring it back home.
Sure. I can pick up some food from the diner as well. I feel very disturbed, but I'm craving bacon.
That's
Give me a corned beef hash.
So Henry, you're staying at the university. Earl, where are you going?
I'm with Hank at visiting the Merchant District neighbor.
Okay, Hank, you guys are going Merchant District. Well, you're in the Merchant District. Hank. Max, you said you were going to go see if you could visit Mr. Bolton.
Yeah, that's correct.
And Jason, what were you going to do?
Jason is gossiping around the diner and
Okay, you're gonna go to
getting
the
a
diner.
lunch, taking orders for the rest of the Clam Flat boys.
Okay. So let's do it in this order. Let's do Lex first. Lex, you head over to the diner, and it's getting busy this time of day. It's still fairly early it's in the morning, but the lunch crowd should be coming in, within a half an hour or so. Do an intelligence roll.
That is a 99.
Hey. So you come in, there's people chit-chatting. But they're just saying, isn't it awful? Isn't it awful that happened to them? You don't know. You begin to make a distinction. They're talking about the place exploding, and what are they going to do financially, and how are they going to survive? And it's always they. You don't think everybody knows yet that Valerie is dead.
So Jason he wipes a little bit of drool pooling in his mouth, and he is about to spread some hot gossip. And just, well, didn't you hear that Valerie was in there? Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. And just hopping from table to table, moving about the room.
So that starts, the people are shocked. And I mean, some of these people vaguely know you. I mean, you're not, once again, it's a small town.
I am known as remarkably forgettable.
Do a luck roll.
Okay. That is a 16 under 45.
Okay. So as you are gossiping, you notice at one of the inner tables farther into the little diner, there is an old man and a young man. They're sitting across from one another. The old man is dressed in a very prim and proper business suit. The younger man is also in a business suit, but he's a little bit more, he looks like he's probably 19 or 20. You recognize them. You're pretty sure those are Hayride employees. And from the way they're dressed, you're pretty sure they came to work this morning and suddenly realized the whole place had burnt down.
I'm going to slap a $5 bill on the counter, sort of nod at the waitress and come up with a full tray of coffee and whatnot, and walk up to their table with multiple cups of black coffee, cream and sugar. And
the older man looks up at you and he says, "Oh, Mr. Campbell, isn't it?"
Yeah. Jason, surprised you remember. Good eye.
I have a memory for names and places. So you've seen, you've heard.
Yes, it was unfortunate. I was right there. That's how I got this scar. I was right nearby.
Oh my goodness.
Scared the dickens out of me. Yes.
We didn't know anything until we got here this morning for work and found the place had been destroyed. I don't know what they're going to do at this point in time. Apparently it was a gas explosion.
That's what it seems to be, yeah.
It's
it blew the entire front of the building out. Only the safe was still in there. Poor Valerie. That's it. Poor Valerie.
Yes, I believe the police have confiscated all of the merchandise, which is a good thing. They're holding it until they can turn it over to the proper people involved. They'll have to find some new place. I've worked for them for 40 years, and it's a shame. Now we're going to both have to find jobs. He's not. I kind of giggled that, but he's very serious man. Mm-hmm. His name, by the way, as you recall, is Lawrence Cabot. The young man looks like maybe he's 18. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to have to find someplace else to work." That's Carl West. He says it's not always easy to find a place in a small town. Besides, I've been learning the business, and it's not an easy business.
Sure. Do you think anyone around the university? Surely they keep bringing in so many artifacts that maybe just skills working with gemstones, you may be able to find some work around there. I mean, I can put in a good word for you at Magenta if you're not above, waiting tables. Pay's good tips anyway. With that memory, Mr. Lawrence, you'll do well.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps I should just retire. It's been a long, hard. I don't need to say anything more. And you see Carl sort of roll his eyes. You get that sort of vibe from Carl, like, yeah, old people. And
I do that knowing nod back.
Yeah. Well, we'll get by.
Do you know? Well, so yeah, they were talking about, or you both said that John may have to find a new building. Have you heard anything from him? Is he holding up all right?
A lot of people have sent sympathy cards and flowers. It's I don't know. I mean, I've worked for them, as I say, for 40 years, but when I say that I was close with them, I'm professional with them. It's a job. I don't think about the job when I go home. From little things that he says, you're still not sure that he knows that Valerie is dead. It might not come out until the newspaper this afternoon or evening.
Okay, so I was trying to hint very subtly whenever I just lingered on poor Valerie. So as someone that's more persuasive, can I easily let slip that,
yeah.
How is John going to handle the papers since Valerie's gone now?
Oh my. I didn't know that she was in the, that's
oh yes,
terrible.
Hardly anything remains of her. Poor girl.
I have no idea. Carl looks like he wants to say something, and he gets the stink eye from Lawrence. A senior over a junior, and the junior shuts his mouth.
Hey, Lawrence, do you need any cream in this coffee? Oh no! And spills coffee into Lawrence's lap.
Oh dear. Okay. He says, I'll just go clean up. And he steps into the washroom.
I whip my head back around towards Carl. All right, I'm here. Come on.
So I didn't know that Valerie was dead, but the two of them, they were at loggerheads all the time. They fought. And I think, I don't want to sound like a male chauvinist, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was really technically her business. And for years, he had worked for Old Man Avery, and Old Man Avery treated him like a piece of shit.
And John always wanted to call the shots, huh?
And I think that once Old Avery died, John hoped that he would take control. But his wife, Valerie, was kind of a bitch. She was demanding. She wanted the high life. She wanted a hobnob among the rich and wealthy. And of course, she wasn't of that class. And so she made him slave as much as possible to put her in fancy jewelry and fancy clothes. I think that he'll be, I didn't know that she was dead, but if she's dead, I think he's going to become a happier person. He's always nice to me. He trained me and showed me how to do things. And she was always critical of everything.
Sure. I know a few folks like that. Well, both kinds, really. So we were, of course, I don't know if I mentioned, but yeah, I was there. That's how I got this scar. We were so close to the explosion. It was terrifying.
What were you doing out that early in the morning?
Oh, just coming off from another all-nighter. You know how it is. And we happened to walk by and at the just right or wrong time. But so we were there. Fire brigade came by, very, very prompt. They said that John was torn up. He was torn up, something fierce. Oh wait, I'm not Southern. They said that John was very upset and had to be escorted away.
Well, I don't know what they would be doing there that early in the morning, but
do they not usually get there before the store opens overnight?
Well, sure.
This was very early. This was 6, 7?
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of early. They don't open until 9. Was he there too?
I think I would have seen if he was there too. All I know is that poor woman was, she was extra crispy. whenever we came in. And John, I never saw the man, but fire department said he had to get taken away.
I've worked there for a couple of years, since I was 16, learning the ropes. John was a nice guy. I wouldn't think that he could get, I mean, I think he was probably in bed asleep when the cops came, or the firemen came and told him what happened. She must have gone down there to fuss over something.
Oh, probably. I mean, did she smoke? Just, if it was a gas leak, if she's fussing over something, lights a cigarette, kablooey.
I don't know. I never saw her smoke. At least not in the store. I mean, she would want it. She'd say that it would make the place smell.
Okay, I was going to say, it's suspicious if someone doesn't smoke. Everyone knows it's good for you.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I never saw them. They were pretty careful about their private life, except that I know they fought all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was emasculated. Oh, here he comes.
Yeah, that's okay.
And Lawrence comes back and rejoins him. And he's like, well, young Mr. West, I think that we need to go and see what we can find as far as jobs go. It was nice seeing you, Mr. Campbell.
Nice seeing you too, Lawrence. So sorry about the coffee. And please let me know if you want a good word at Magenta. It's nice. It's French cuisine. But I'll teach you the words. It's all good.
And he just said, thank you. And they get up and they leave. All right. So neighbors of the businesses.
Yes.
You, without going through it all again, you kind of get the same info. They were fairly decent business folk, but he and her couldn't sometimes control themselves, and they'd have a fight. And it was usually, it's categorized as she was domineering. She would tell him to do things, and he would try to accommodate her, but she never seemed to be satisfied. He couldn't do anything right. And he used to, about the only time that they probably had peace was when he would go off on a business trip. He would, occasionally go on shopping. He would go out looking for sources of jewelry and materials, mostly to New York, but occasionally he would go other places. And they mentioned that he was gone for quite a bit. They think he went to Russia.
Yeah, that checks out.
Philip, you find the Bolton house. It's a nice house. It's a big house, 2 stories. It's white. It has a very well manicured lawn and flower beds. The kind of thing that you would think they might have done some gardening, but running a business, they probably had a gardener who took care of their place. And it looks like the place is well manicured. And it's a big place. And as far as you know, they didn't have children. So they probably had somebody taking care of their place as well, the housekeeper. As you pull up and park your car, you can see there's a bunch of stuff on the front porch. Looks like ribbons and things. But there is not a car in the driveway.
So wait, by ribbons, do you mean like a wreath or something?
Well, from the street, you can't really tell, but yeah, at glance, you'd think they might be, gift baskets or.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Things like that.
Condolences.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go up to the door and knock then.
Okay. You go up to the door and you knock. There is no answer. You knock a couple times. There's no answer. The things that are on the porch are, most of them are, we're so sorry we heard about your place burning. Hope that if there's anything that you need, but most of them seem to sound like Valerie. They don't know that Valerie has died. Otherwise, it'd be a little bit more somber.
Does the house look occupied?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's somebody obviously lives here.
I mean like right now.
Oh, no. I mean, it's the windows are dark, but you can see through. I mean, there's curtains, but you can see past the curtains.
Can I just take a peek in the window, see
Sure.
anything?
Do a spot hidden.
No, that's 81.
Okay. You're looking through, you can see that, they're kind of gauzy curtains, so you can't see really clearly, but there's definitely a few more of these packages inside that have been set inside. But you can't get a clear view, really. You can see that there's a coffee table and maybe a clock on the wall over there and stairs going upstairs.
My clam instincts are telling me to do a B&E, but I don't know if that's necessarily the greatest idea.
So imagine, here's the house. It's quite nice. There's a house on the right and a house on the left. They're quite different than one another. They're quite different than the Hayright's house or the Bolton house, because most houses look different back then. They have a backyard, and then there's a fence, and then there's another street beyond. So there's more backyards and more buildings back there. But there's no fence. There's a fence in the back, but there's not fences in between the properties, which is fairly common in New England.
All right.
You don't see a lot of fences between the properties.
So it's kind of like a not like as big as a McMansion, but kind of like the same idea.
Yeah, here, let's see. I think I made a picture. Yeah, here like this. So it's a good size.
Oh, okay.
But then there's immediately another house on each side.
Jeez. I have to. Let me check if the door's unlocked. Is it locked?
The door is locked in the front. There are other windows and other doors. Not in the front.
Maybe I'll check if one of the windows is open, like a side window or something.
Okay. Go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
All right. 37 out of, I think, 50.
Okay. You get a good look inside. You don't have to open the window, but you can see when you're on the side, you can see a better look of that room. You can see it's a living room. There's like a little parlor attached to it where, you greet guests and stuff. You can see there's a little hallway probably leading back towards a kitchen. You can see the stairs going up. And you can see the inside where the front door is. You can see there's a number of packages that are sitting there. But there's also a couple of suitcases.
Okay. The clam curiosity is really up now, so I'm going to check if the window's open.
Okay. Do a spot hidden for me.
No, it's a fail.
Okay. You start to jimmy the window a little bit, see if you can open it. And all of a sudden, behind you, from a little ways away, you hear what sounds like an old lady's voice, and you realize that the neighbor is looking out of her kitchen window right at you. And she's like, hello?
Could I, all right, you say he has a gardener. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the gardener is a male. So I'm going to turn around and say, oh, hey, ma'am, I'm just, the gardener around here. I was checking to see if, I left something inside the house.
Her eyebrows go up and she says, well, you're not the gardener.
Fuck. It's a new Can I do a fast talk? It's I'm his assistant. I'm just working things out here. He said he left something.
I've never seen Argus with an assistant. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll come back later when someone's around. I know he's going through a lot. And I'm gonna,
she has that look in her eyes like, I'm gonna call cops.
okay, I'm gonna shuffle off sort of hesitantly.
All right. So you go back to the car. Let's see. Okay. Henry, at last you make your way up to the room where the professor is. It's taking you 45 minutes just to go up the stairs. You knock on his door. Yes, come in. This is fascinating. Most extraordinary. I don't know. It's so extraordinary. I seem to have changed my accent to a completely different one.
I have become German.
Yeah, I've become German when I was Russian before. He says, please sit down. This is a very valuable document. We need to put this into a museum when you solve the case. It is apparently about 400 years old, and it is a part of a journal that was written by a number of Russian soldiers, Slavic soldiers. Here, let me give you the translation. And he hands you the translation. 15th century, easily. This is the translation that he gives you.
All right. Translation of Old Slavonic text, 15th century. And as night fell, we could hear it coming, son of Veles, the avenger of the dead. Its arrival proved only that one of us was the killer of the Cossack girl. This was the proof. If the god beast came, then we could not deny that one of us had gone back and had killed her. Revenge for the deaths of our own children. It came like lightning to the house, sundering apart the braced door. Its eyes like glowing pools of chaos, it searched for the killer. Pasha, why did he do it? And yet, for all his begging, it did no good as the monster ripped him in half. Nor did we stop him, no, for none desired to be taken as well. But then, it turned on Dmitri and Vladim. Why, oh why? It seemed that all those who witnessed it became souls it desired. No witnesses were allowed. And then, it was my turn. Unable to stop the beast, I too was broken. I awoke at dawn a week later, only to discover that the Cossacks had found my shattered body and saved my life. Yet although I healed in time, it took me seasons to walk. Forever cursed, never to forget the son of Veles. Ever. Well, that's some heavy stuff, sir. Do you have any idea? Well, I don't want to get too much into an investigation, but why would somebody have something like this?
It sounds like it's part of one of the legends of Veles that someone had murdered someone who had one of the trinkets, the things that contained the son of Veles, and the creature came to attack them, but it seems to also have attacked anyone that could see it.
So, by this logic, if someone who had one of these relics or reliquaries, but not rightfully so, and had harmed the original owner or stolen it, that one of these mythical beasts would hunt that man down?
It would come within a day, as long as darkness was upon the earth, that it would come and destroy the murderer and all that saw it.
I see. This is perplexing. This is definitely a case for the Clan Flat boys.
Well, I should like very much to know what happens to this this document. It's quite remarkable. It's a piece of our history that I'd like to save.
I'm in agreement with you there, boy. In fact, I have some experience working in museums, so as long as it is pertinent to the investigation, handle it with light hands and make sure that when it's done and no longer of use, hand it to the proper authority so it can be preserved in perpetuity.
Excellent. Right. So, Henry, what are you going to do now that you have this?
Well, I'm going to graciously thank this man for translating this.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate all your hard work, sir.
Of course.
But I must return to the boys. This is information that they'll need as soon as possible.
Right. So you hobble all the way to Hank's Hank's hardware store. Hank and Earl, was it Earl and you that were looking at the neighbors?
Yeah, we were helping sweep up.
We're not far.
You've come back to your hardware store as Henry arrives. Philip and Jason, what are you guys doing? Are you meeting back?
Yes, Philip is going back to Hank's hardware store, tosses him a wrapped brown package. It's like, there we go, Hank, corned beef hash. The rest of
I'm Philip.
Oh, well, Philip, I'm very glad you get a BLT. Everybody has BLTs.
You're that close.
I'm going to tell that to the police when they arrest Philip for breaking and entering.
Philip, you get nothing.
All right, so you guys are all back together. What do you want to do?
I suppose we'll share the information we found out.
Henry.
I've got something. It's a primary source.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yes, it's a primary source of journal. But hold on.
Let me see that, and I'll read it. And I'm physically paling.
I'll pull over a chair for Henry because he seems a bit winded.
Yeah, it took me about 4 hours to walk over here.
Henry, do you realize the gravity of the situation? We saw it.
Some kind of gravity.
No, we saw it. We saw the bear. We're fucked.
I don't think it's looking for us, boy.
No, but whenever it's done, it's gonna get us next.
Well, you know what? We know how to defeat it, don't we? I got some fun house mirrors. It's part of my act.
Good. There might be hope for us yet. Salvation.
Actually, you kind of making sense here now, Hank. Reading this translation again, it's this journal, and there's these soldiers from maybe 400 or 500 years ago. Well, one of those bears went after one of their own, and they thought they were going to be spared because it was only looking for that one guy. Boy, let me tell you, they weren't spared.
Oh, no. It was going towards the graveyard, sniffing out its quarry.
But we're not associated with this guy.
No, but we saw it. So it'd probably come after us next. We have to find its target first so we can get an advantage.
Well, these we and us lines are doing a lot of heavy lifting there, Hank. But bottom line, if we can get some mirrors, we sort of have chum in the water, as it were. Not to be too callous. So maybe we wait for it to come to us, and then who knows how to shoot flaming arrows? But
I've got a sawed-off double barrel behind the counter.
Hey, I got the old. Sorry, go ahead, Laura.
I'm pretty keen on the more defensive option as well, because if we just go charging off to try and prevent the wrongdoer's death, I don't see that as a win whatsoever, and we're just exposing ourselves. Whereas if we play defensive, listen, Hank and Henry, especially you, Hank, from giving your testimony, I think you guys are in some serious trouble here, assuming this is true. I don't know. We don't need to stick out our necks any more than we're already going to have to. And I think it'll be better if we hunker down, get some mirrors, get a Majesto's Flaming Arrows act ready.
I got the flaming axes.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, whatever pierces the heart, right?
And I'll tell you what, just to I know that you're all very, very tense right now. We'll have a New England clam bake for dinner tonight. We'll get you this will be
Hopefully that's
all
not
right.
our last meal. Oh dear.
Well, what a meal that would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes,
Come on, look on the bright side.
I could go for the New England steamers.
You're not shucked yet. You still got time.
Listen, this isn't any worse than the Puckawudgie, so I think in the end we'll all be fine.
It's true.
That's true. That thing almost led me off a cliff.
Oh boy. Well,
all right, so it's time to assemble mirrors.
Where are we going to get so many mirrors?
Well, I think I would have some or I would at least know someone who like runs a fun house or something.
I think that it's too cramped in here in this hardware store. The cemetery is in line of sight of Hayright's house.
It's not in line of sight.
Oh, it's not. It's
But if you drew a line from
it
here,
is in the same direction.
it would be going. Yeah.
I don't know. But what if we want to be in close quarters, given then that's less space we have to cover with mirrors?
Well, I think as long as we sort of like Aegis hold it in front of him, you know?
Well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, we've each got a shield or mirror that we could put up.
Yeah, I'm thinking sort of like Perseus.
We're getting all
would
Greek
we
up in
be
here, huh?
just in this hardware store? I still am curious about what will happen to Hayright, or at least the husband.
I don't want to know.
Do you think? But it's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option, but I definitely think that we need to prioritize getting your defenses set up. But when that's gone, I think maybe some of us non-cursed folk could look into it. But I feel like especially those that have been marked should prioritize their own safety.
That is a good point. Then how about one of you check out the cemetery and Hayright's house?
Sure,
right.
Phil, you had some trouble with the neighbors, right? I'm great with old folks.
Just because they can be a warning, a scout. If you hear some violence happening at this household, you can run back and let us know so we can be ready.
Also, I'll just go. I'll grab my car.
Henry can't run.
We'll park on the street, like, a couple blocks down, get up some binoculars so we'll get a clear view, and we'll just, stakeout style.
Okay, Henry, do you think you can stake out with binoculars in a car? Then not fall asleep?
Well, Henry can't go. He's seen it.
He's cursed.
Yeah, he's cursed.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have those flaps and the driver's mirrors that you can check your reflection, so that's a last resort. Cars got all kinds of mirrors. That's the safest place for you to be.
That's kind of a good point.
It is not a good point.
Listen,
never mind.
In a stage whisper.
I'm fairly decent with driving cars, but I'm not exactly a stuntman in angling the mirror to the right moment at the right second, if you get what I mean.
Well, how fast do you think the beast was, like on a scale from 1 to 10?
Oh, I mean, it was walking out pretty calmly, but I'd hate to see it in purest combat form.
But if these boys didn't see it the first time, what makes you think that they're going to see it this time?
Because you can still hear someone being mauled to death.
Well, hopefully not, but I get your point.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Jeez.
Hank, you said that this thing
I feel
was
like I'm
sniffing.
losing it.
Hank,
Yeah, I was trying to find.
could you hear it? Could you hear it and not see it? Or hypothetically, if one couldn't see it, do you think they could still hear something sniffing?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I saw it plain as day, but you guys didn't. You had no idea what we were pointing at. Which, that's equally as unsafe, because it could be right next to you and you wouldn't know.
Exactly. That's what, I'm not too keen to see this death bear myself, but perhaps if we could locate it just by sound instead of sight, that would let us know approximately where it might be, start in the graveyard, go to the house, or have a watch around Hank and Hank and Henry?
I think one of us should at least accompany you, because we're going to be able to see it if you can't. We could give you a heads up.
Well, I honestly think that if there's a death bear rolling around, that one way or another we'll find out it's there. But if you're willing to really put your life on the line, I'm not going to put my feet in the ground and stop you.
Well, I couldn't live with myself if you got mauled by something you couldn't even
Because
see.
you being present for this scene will almost guarantee that once it's done, it's going to home in on you, meaning we're going to need to run away.
Well, or we're going to need to try and kill it. The sight point is something I didn't consider, because I'm pretty good at throwing.
Yeah, we're not. There is the risk that maybe we've got these mirrors, but we don't know where to aim them.
Right.
Yeah.
That goes back to my theory of we need to be in a closed space where we've got enough mirrors to cover everything.
It might be a good idea. This poor guy, though, I mean, so what if he stole the necklace? He doesn't deserve to get ripped apart for it. It's kind of.
I mean, what comes around.
What goes around?
It seems to be going around.
Jeez.
Going around
Everybody who you have talked to about them characterize her as a bitch and him as maybe a wimp, but not really a bad person.
Well, and the dad was really profiteering with the jewelry shop, so maybe
He was
a
really
miser.
giving the shaft to Bolton.
Do
But
we
they're
know
not
if
like horrible people. And if we can prevent them from, I mean, no one deserves to be
Mauled by a
Mauled.
ghost bear?
yes.
Do you guys want to take a 5-minute break?
I would love that.
Sure.
All right. So you guys are together and you guys are discussing what you are going to do. To
What
your
time is
best, to your best estimate, sundown is at 6 p.m. and it's probably about 3.
Okay, we got 3 hours. Not getting any sleep at this rate. Well, we definitely want to. I know for me personally, I want to go around the merchant district and find like a handheld pocket mirror of some kind.
Do I have the convex mirror in my hardware store?
Probably.
Well, we can just unscrew that, carry that around.
And would I have any mirrors for like magic?
Oh, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, so I'll get one of those.
So who's our best shot, boys?
Well, I'm one hell of a sharpshooter.
He can't
But,
see it.
not exactly with a bow and arrow, if that's what we're going for.
I'm more of a thrower.
I mean, if Majesto here can see it, then I'm sure he could hit it. But he can't see it.
Well, you see,
So that's either you or I, Henry.
here's something that we don't necessarily know yet, is that we're not aware of what the factor is why you could see it and why we couldn't. So who's to say that theoretically, whatever this factor is, like, what if some of us could see it on the next attack?
That's
Plausible.
putting us-
Now that's going out on a limb here, but it's true. We don't know the variable for why you see it.
There is no
and why we
science
didn't.
behind this. This is all esoteric,
Now,
occult.
obviously, we need to think about like how to make sure we know we've got a plan if only you could see it. But in case that is not the case, we should still make contingencies.
Yeah. Maybe if you had like some powder or something, or like paint that you could paint on it.
I've got a lot of paint in the hardware store.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's assuming this thing is corporeal at all.
Well, Hank,
But
you said it didn't just walk through the bars to the cemetery. If it had to jump over the wall, I think Philip here's onto something. If we had just talcum powder, or just throw in paint, are balloons a thing? If we make like paint water balloons to try and throw
All right,
at it?
I just passed my int roll. So you have seen it then. You've all seen the picture I took.
Yeah.
Well, that was
I
just a
saw the
symbol.
picture.
maybe that is its true form. Maybe that would also work to make it concentrate on it just like a mirror, because this photo would be its true form as well, or it'd be a form.
That is true. You see, it was talking about mirrors in there, but it didn't necessarily say that the mirror was the key variable, just that it was its true form.
Yes.
So if the picture, assuming the triangle is its true form, I mean, there could be some plausibility to that. After all, we saw similar triangle on the scary.
Well, then that means you would all be
Russian papers.
all of the clam flat boys are in danger then.
All right.
Well, you know, listen, even if it was only one of us, I say, like, you know, we live and die for each other at this point. So
Absolutely.
this doesn't change the stakes at all for me.
I'm so glad you think that.
Speak for yourself, champ.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I have your back, Earl.
Of course, I'm kidding too.
I was just pulling your bivalve.
You're lucky I only have a 10 in psychology.
And I have a 15 fast talk.
All right, listen. I say we arm up with whatever we can use. I've got my sawed-off double barrel.
So we're going full doomsday prepper here. Are we all on that turn?
I'd rather over-prepare and not have to use it than have to use it and not have it prepared.
All right, then I'll go get my war rifle.
We're the clam flat boys. We win as a team, we lose as a team.
That's right. And
We didn't
I'll treat
have
you all to New England Steamers after this.
Now, assuming we survive, I'm going to seriously hold you up to that. I'll still pay the tip, though.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of action, just like how we solved the ghost of the Great Molasses Flood.
At this rate, this is going to be as bad as the clam flat incident, #1.
Oh, yes.
Oh, don't bring that
don't
up.
talk about that.
Oof.
We don't talk about that.
This is the case that's going to put us on the map, boys.
I'm not sure I wanted to. More people look into this, more people get exposed.
Yeah.
Unless we slay the beast tonight.
I guess I will go back.
All right,
to my
get your rifle.
apartment.
Get your rifle.
Go.
I'll accompany you. We'll
I'll
post
get my
stuff.
3006 and stuff it in a duffel bag.
So wait. Hang on. I'm getting in a. It seems to go from person to person. Those that saw it, right? So it went for the wife first. It's going to John next.
Wait, well, did John actually see it? Maybe it would just go to us next.
Yeah.
Actually, no. It was sniffing around. It was sniffing.
Yeah, it was sniffing and heading towards the
graveyard.
cemetery.
And the graveyard, assuming that it sniffs in a straight line,
As the crow flies.
it's gonna go to John's house then. So yeah, we should go there, potentially saving an innocent person from being mauled.
And collecting a reward.
I like how you think. So maybe he's paying for the steamers.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so next order of business then. How do we get into the house? Philip, you said that it was locked up tight?
I don't necessarily know that. I got scared off by the old lady. I probably could have gotten in there.
Well, if she gets to be a problem, I can distract her. Like I'm good at chatting up old people. They come into the diner all the time.
I'm putting the double barrel into a large paint can.
I will definitely distract her away from that.
Yeah,
If you want to, you could just fit it in my duffel bag. I mean,
This is easier access. Should we need it?
that must be one hell of a big paint can, bud.
Oh, it's a sawed-off.
Well, I don't think we necessarily have to break into the house until we see Ursa Major, crawling
Honestly,
up the street.
I think B&E is a bad idea here because we
I
really
do
don't have
too.
any concrete evidence against actually him being anything more than a victim, in all honesty. And
Sure.
with snooping old ladies around, I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got a reputation, but we've got doomsday prep rifles and duffel bags and paint cans. I think we're already pushing the line.
Look, we'll just.
But what
we'll
if the
just,
bear does the bee? What if the
Then
death
we
bear does the
follow.
bee and we
Then
follow
we
in
follow.
as
That's true.
concerned
Well, okay,
Samaritans?
at that point, yes. But I mean,
So we'll just
I'm
wait outside the
saying
house.
We don't
Exactly.
Yes, we get in a car. We watch from like a block down, keep our eyes out, but we be subtle. But if we get the opportunity to be concerned citizens, then we leap that up. But we
That's an
can't be
excellent plan, Earl.
we can't be proactive.
Sounds like a plan. All in agreement, Clam Flat Boys?
Okay. So you said a lot. It sounded like you're going to park on the street and watch the house.
Like a block away, assuming we can fit all 5 of us in a car.
Well, it's a lot of the streets. It's a long street, so a block away could be half a mile away.
That's a good point. Let's say then
2 houses down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll have all our equipment. I've got the convex mirror. I've got the photograph. I've got the shotgun. You can probably fit some of those magician's mirrors in the trunk if you need them.
That's where my duffel bag is.
Yeah.
Okay. So you travel over there. It obviously doesn't take you very long. So you've got a while to wait.
Sleeping.
Probably close.
Maybe we can even warn John.
Don't send in Philip.
What exactly would we tell him?
Ooh, spectral bear.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I forgot to tell you guys, but it looked like he was packing up. I hope he isn't.
Well, you see,
is his car still out?
Or maybe
he hasn't bounced.
Maybe he hasn't unpacked from Russia.
Well, he was in possession in his safe of these documents that we got translated. And so I wouldn't be surprised in the least if he at least knew of the myths and potentially even understands them to be.
Well, I mean, that's assuming that Valerie shared the combination with him, because based on those records and the like, I would be willing to assume
like the type to share.
That Every was the one, that was originally his safe, and that naturally, I mean, given what we know about their toxic relationship, it seems that Valerie would be the one that would, naturally inherit it, and probably, if she was sharing any of the contents with him, I don't think she'd be cluing him in on the most minute details. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he had no idea.
Well, and then there's the other matter of the police said he was shocked. I mean, maybe he actually did like his wife, but the police said he was shocked when he saw the body. So maybe he,
or maybe it was confirmation.
Yeah.
Maybe he heard folklore about some kind of murder bear, and then his wife turns out dead. I mean, it doesn't seem like he may have had much love lost on her, but learning a ghost story is true can do a lot to a person. Maybe he's trying to get out of Dodge.
Just look at Hank.
Yes. Is he still in his house, John? Is his car parked there?
Okay, so as you're approaching, there is no car in his driveway. However, at the end of his driveway, there is a man. He looks like he is in overalls, and he is talking to the old woman that was that saw Philip. They're out in the front, and he does kind of look like a gardener.
Okay. Upon seeing this, and I assume we're getting closer and closer to the sun setting, right?
Yeah, you still got probably close to 2 hours.
All right. I hate to say this, but Philip, you mentioned earlier that old Bolton wasn't home, right?
I didn't think he was.
He's still not back. And, well, I mean, let's just say what happens if theoretically 2 hours from now, what if he doesn't come back and then we're just completely off the mark here?
Yeah, maybe someone should go ask the gardener, not me.
Hank, you want to come with me and we see what's going on inconspicuously?
Anything for you, Earl.
Don't bring the paint can. We're leaving that in the car.
No, nothing needs to be painted yet.
Painted.
That's right.
Painted red, more like. Goodness.
Okay, so who's going to go talk to the?
It is, I believe, Earl.
Hank and Earl.
Hank.
Okay. All right, Hank and Earl, you guys have parked the car just a door or two down. You get out and you start to walk across the street. By the time you've half crossed the street, you've kind of got their attention. He looks over at you approaching. She glances over and she looks like typical next door neighbor, busybody old woman as you guys are coming up. And but she's kind of got a pleasant serene sort of smile on her face. And as you come up, they're like, "Hello."
Howdy. I'm Hank, owner of Hank's Hardware Store. This is my friend Earl. Just taking a walk.
Earl Lawson, First Arkham Bank.
You are you here because of the Boltons?
See, he was supposed to meet me for an appointment about his bank account earlier today, but he just didn't show up. And it's honestly been one hell of a day so far with that explosion in the merchant district.
She says, "Well, I'm sorry to say, but that was his shop, and his wife was unfortunately killed."
Oh my God! Really?
If you're looking for him, he's not here right now. I think he was quite upset this morning, and he seems to have gone out for a drive. But he should
where he
be
usually
back.
Drives?
Through the countryside. I don't know. It's a terrible shame, and the fellow he shakes your hand. He says, "My name is Argus Waitley. I'm their gardener."
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Argus.
He says, "Yeah." He says, "It's a terrible shame." And she introduces herself as Mrs. McTighe, Julia McTighe. He says, "Yeah, it's a terrible shame. People have been coming by all day, leaving stuff on the porch, and
Well, I wish I could be meeting you under better circumstances. True that.
Well, I mean, if you ever want to stop by the hardware store, we got a deal on spade and shovels, good for digging up clams this time of year.
Waitley says, "Yeah, I've been to your hardware store a few times. I've gotten stuff. You probably don't recognize me. We all kind of look the same."
Well, next time, introduce yourself. We'll have some great deals. Anyway.
Well, if Bolton comes by, Argyle, if you wouldn't mind, please giving him this card and reminding him that we've got an appointment coming up, and I will hand the business card.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to want to do many appointments, but I'll put it on the porch.
Thank you. Anything.
All right. And he takes the card and walks over towards the porch. And she's like, "Yeah, it's a terrible shame. Though it's probably, at least in some ways, a bit of a relief for him." And then she kind of looks like, "Oh, I shouldn't speak ill of the dead,
Well,
was there real love between them? Or is it just for convenience?
She kind of looks dreamy. She says, "Well, I've lived here, for 40 years. So there's very little, in the form of secrets that you can keep from your next door neighbor."
Right.
I think that maybe in the beginning they loved each other. He certainly seemed to love her. And I think that she was, kind of an old-fashioned sort of soul like myself. She wanted a husband who was going to take care of her and buy her things and provide her with the kind of lifestyle she wanted. But, the Hayrights were, merchants. She really wanted to be in high society. She wanted to dress in dresses and go to parties. And they were occasionally invited to parties. But she didn't really fit in. How the elite can be. They don't really accept outsiders. And I think from his perspective, he didn't care about that at all. I think he loved her, but he was interested in running the business, but he wasn't given much of a chance to do it his way. Oh boy, they used to fight sometimes. My goodness. I remember one time they had just a screaming match at each other, and he came out into Argus will tell you, he came out into the front yard and grabbed the rose bushes and pulled them right out of the ground.
Does he seem like the type to be violent towards his wife?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Never.
I'm not sure
Wouldn't
that he
touch
would.
a hair on her?
No, I don't think that he would have that kind of gumption to, to ever raise a hand against her. Did she raise a hand against him? Well, I don't know. I think I saw a couple black eyes on him once in a while. I wasn't so sure if he'd had a bar fight or his wife had hauled off and whacked
Oh
him.
my.
She's the type of girl to pick up a frying pan and go at it.
I don't know, maybe.
Well, not to talk ill.
Like I say, they tried, and of course, old man Hayward was a shrewd bastard, but I don't know. John was I don't know. Maybe he had his secrets. I know I found something once. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, please. Let us know.
Well, let me go get it. And she goes back into the house. In the meantime, Argus comes back over and he says, I don't know. He says, I'm probably going to have to find myself another job.
No, why don't I hire you? You seem
need a
like a
gardener?
hardworking individual.
Well,
yeah.
I'm a gardener, sir. I mean, I don't work in a hardware store. I
Yeah,
like
you
to
can
garden. You got a house? I can garden for you.
Yes.
Excellent.
You can garden for all my friends, and
Yeah.
we'll pay you.
I doubt that you'll be anywhere half as demanding as she was. Oh my goodness, what a woman!
Oh yeah,
She'd have me put in a flower bed in one spot and then say, "No, I don't like it there. Move it."
Well, how'd you like John then?
John was okay. Kind of a, I don't know, kind of a wimp.
Well,
He tried to stand up to her once in a while, but it's her money. It's her money. It's her, I think that now that she's dead, he'll probably inherit everything, but then why shouldn't he?
Well, it's as they say, money talks.
Anyways, I just came by because Mrs. McTighe there called me. She said there was some strange man wandering around here, said that he was said that he was my assistant, but
Some kind of criminal, huh?
I don't have an assistant.
Oh, we got a neighborhood watch around here. I mean, what kind of? We don't want any creeps walking up and saying
Scoundrels.
What's the neighborhood
Unscrupulous.
watch? Yeah. No. Anyway, she called me just to make sure, and I thought I'd come over and take a look.
I'll give him my card.
All right.
Keep in touch.
He takes your card. Well, thank you
See
very
you at
much,
the
mister.
store.
And he
Tell me, Hank.
he walks away and gets into his truck. Just as Mrs. McTighe comes back out, and she's got in her hand a folded up piece of paper. And she says, now, I mean, I don't want ever to speak, ill, even of the living, but
Right.
a while ago, it was a kind of a misty morning, and I was out getting my newspaper and checking the mail, and I noticed Mr. Bolton's car was sitting where it always does, right there, and that there was a piece of paper on the ground. I thought maybe he had dropped it and fallen out of his pocket or something. But it looks like a letter that he had intended to mail and must have lost it. Anyways, it was all crumpled up. So this is the letter. I don't know. But something you said makes me think, I mean, he was a nice man, but don't we all have our flaws?
Right.
And she says, here's the letter. And she hands it to you.
I'll read it. You're a good judge of character. Joanne, am I never to be free of the legacy of my father-in-law? His name hangs above my door as an ever-present omen of failures. If only I could break her hold on the money, I would leave at once and come to you in New York. But there seems little chance of that. She is much worse than her father ever was. My Joanne, I love you so much, and it is with a sad heart that I had to give her the beautiful Russian necklace I discovered. She found it in my luggage on my return. Christ! is not even a man's own portage sacred. I have to rid myself of her once and for all and gain that damned inheritance for myself. Then I can give you the life you deserve, John.
Okay, I'm
All right,
gonna try and be subtle about this, but upon reading this, I'm gonna like try and like dart my eyes towards Hank and like twitch an eyebrow up, but then just like quickly revert to like, whoa, well, that's interesting. Here, you take this back.
She says, do you think it, I mean, it sounds like maybe he was having an affair, but I mean, I wouldn't blame him.
He's talking about loving some Joanna. That don't sound like Valerie to me. So
well, he went to New York a lot on business. And she mentions New York. I don't know.
Well, I think we should probably keep this under wraps as best we can. You know, we don't want to be any lip flapping gossipers. But that is certainly interesting.
Thank you so much, Mrs. McTighe.
Indeed. And I'm so sorry if we've seemed a bit nosy here.
Okay.
Keep your eye out for any strange fellows claiming to be gardeners. We don't want any folk like that in our town.
Absolutely.
All right. So right about 5 p.m., a little after 5 p.m., you notice a car turned down at the end of the road. And go ahead.
Before that happens, would we be able to discuss with the others about?
Yeah, you please discuss.
Sorry to interrupt.
So we'll say it's going on. It's going on 5 o'clock.
Okay, so the sun's not setting yet.
Correct. You got about an hour.
Okay.
So back in the car. All right, fellas, we got some very interesting information there from old Lady McTee. By the way, Philip, never pose as a gardener anywhere in this neighborhood again.
What? What did I do?
You know, they were just talking about seeing someone strange and the like, and I just think it'd be wise that you just don't go strutting around here. Anyways, old Lady McTay showed us a note she found, and so I think I saw it in Bolton's accounting records that he made a visit to New York or something, some kind of receipt maybe it was. And the note he sent was something towards a lover, or we presume, I mean, some Joanna. We haven't come across that name yet. So, and according to McTay, he took frequent business trips to New York. Anyways, why this is relevant is because in the note, he mentioned that he got a Russian necklace and it was in his luggage, and then Valerie rooted through his luggage and took it. So, given what we've come to so far, it seems like the necklace in question was acquired by Bolton and then stolen by Valerie.
Well, the last part of that letter does reveal potential criminal intent. Maybe he caused this gas leak intentionally because he said he's going to do something about it and take her inheritance.
Yes, that is another concerning factor, especially considering he just apparently he's out on a drive and he's not back. But I don't know, fellas, gas isn't the most affordable thing right now. I don't think that this is
you think it got him?
It's too convenient. Well, no, it couldn't have gotten him. It can't be in the sunlight, right?
Well, I mean, in some of the sources, it says it turns invisible in the sunlight.
Well, I mean, I guess that's possible as well, but that leaves two things. Either he's a crook and he's run away, or he's dead and maybe a crook.
Yeah, I don't know.
My point is I don't know if our best bet is to just be sitting here on this driveway waiting for the sun.
I think we should make the preparations that we agreed upon. Get the mirrors ready. Yeah, just go cemetery. There'll be less people around there. And I think we should fashion some wooden weapons we can set ablaze.
Well, now hang on a second. If he's going to be driving to New York, does that mean
we can't catch up to him?
No, but the death bear is slow. So does the death bear just disappear during the day? Is it in the cemetery now and going to come back later?
I'm not going to take chances.
Gentlemen, remember, his luggage is in. I just had this thought out of nowhere. His luggage is in the house.
He's probably
Still.
dead.
So
He's dead,
maybe
or
he's in the
hiding.
house.
Yeah, if he went off to New York to see his lover, he would have taken his luggage and just lived a new life with her. Like,
Yeah, right?
damn the damn the fire and the building. Just forget all about that. So since he hasn't taken that luggage, he might be dead.
Okay, so then what?
Although his car is not in the driveway as well.
You want to go see a dead body?
No, I want to get ready for tonight because I'm not taking any chances.
No, this neighborhood is too hot, especially with all these rumors of gardeners on the loose.
Yeah. I still think he might return back. Because look, his car's not in the driveway. His luggage is in the house.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible,
Right?
but I guess we need to weigh what are the advantages to us going to the cemetery or another isolated location versus us staying here.
Well, I mean, we're in Arkham country. I'm sure we can drive a little up the river.
Honestly, if we want to take this somewhere and really hunker down for a fight, I think we should go a few miles out of town into a plane or something, because then if we end up firing guns or flaming swords, there's not really much risk of A, witnesses, or B, other property damage.
Yeah,
And if we all die, they'll never find our bodies.
Well, I mean, if we at least fire a gun, I'm sure some fire will be like, oh there. But
That's my final disappearing act, Hank.
You're not gonna disappear. We're brothers. We're the Clam Flat Boys.
I think staying at this house is a bad idea, and I think we should book it out to the west.
Yeah, I agree. Let's head west of the Miskatonic, following the river, till we get to Arkham country, and then hold out there for the night. Take some camping supplies should we need it.
I'm sure your general store has got plenty of tents.
Oh yes. Shirley wouldn't mind. Sure.
There is.
Oh, let's start driving. Let's go.
There is one thing that wasn't clear in the papers, and that is the risk that we don't know how this thing's time frame operates. It is possible that maybe if it was frozen in time, it will immediately appear at the cemetery or back to that house. That is the opposing side of this argument.
Well, it's going to come after Hank no matter what, and Henry, assumedly.
There is the risk, though, that
because there's a high chance that what's his name is toast in that house, or toast somewhere else.
He might be toast.
Right.
Well, we can check that later.
So I'm thinking that tonight it's going to come for Hank and Henry. That's the final loose end. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's closer to 5:30 when you see a car driving down the street and it slows down and it pulls into the driveway.
Okay.
You see a man, he's in a suit, but he is it's rumpled. That's not unusual because everybody wears suits all the time if you're a man in this world. He gets out, he looks kind of downcast, sullen, if you will. He walks up onto the porch of his house, and you see him, some people have added more things during the day. You see him just kind of shove those over to the side with his foot and unlock his door and go inside. You see the lights come on.
Okay, never mind any of what I was just saying.
Jeez. I mean, we can't just leave him to die.
No,
I'm not hard.
What are we gonna say to him? We can't just walk up there and say, "Oh, there's a spectral bear about to come and kill you." Like what?
I mean, look, if we're five people. I say four because Henry doesn't look like much of a fighter, but 4 on 1.
I count.
All right, 5 on 1.
4.5 on 1.
We can just knock him out and just wait.
Knock him out. I mean,
Knock him out. Listen, I'm not going to even try. Okay, listen. In the trenches, I've done my fair share of sneaking.
I realize I'm not thinking too straight. I'm getting
But I'm
nervous.
gonna say, you're all assuming he's a skeptic. He had the two we found it in their vault. The
He's
pieces
a
of paper
potential
with
murderer.
the lore about this shite. Wait, why did I go Irish? With the lore about this death bear thing. If anything, I think he may be suspect numero uno. I think he's certainly at the top of the menu.
Why don't we just confront him? Say, we know you murdered her.
Well, we gotta watch
the
out.
evidence, and here's
Are we
the
gonna bring Philip with us? What if there's still old lady McPhee watching out for that gardener?
it was an ongoing investigation.
I'm sure he can disguise himself as something else.
Yeah, sure. I could put on my my top
He's a
hat
magician.
and tails.
Sure, that's less suspicious, I think. Maybe they'll think it's a Chippendales kind of thing. No one will worry.
He'll be a well-dressed gentleman.
What's a Chippendale?
It's a new business idea I have. I think it'll be great for the restaurant industry.
All right, I'm going inside. I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah, we're
I'll follow.
heading out.
I'm bringing all the supplies too, so I got a paint bucket.
I'm not bringing my duffel bag. I'm not that crazy.
All right. So you're all getting out. You're all going up towards the port, and Hank is leading the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Hank, you get up to the door, and you knock, and there's quiet for a few moments, and then you think you can hear somebody coming downstairs and crossing the room. You can hear, it's usually wooden floors. You can hear the sound, and it comes over, and the door opens, and he's not a handsome man. He's very average looking. He looks like he's maybe in his late 30s, but he also kind of looks like he's, been through the ringer. He looks at you and he says, "Yeah, can I? If you're here to offer your condolences, thank you, but I'm really tired."
We need to talk.
We think lives may be at risk.
Yep.
Who are you? Aren't you the grocery, the hardware store guy? Aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Henry, you want to say
got
the name?
Shop down the street. Well, for a few moments, come on inside. Don't mind. There's a lot of these things that people have dropped by in my. Come on inside. Can I get you something to drink or?
Oh yeah. Water would be good.
All right. He brings some water in. Now what's this about? Is this have anything to do with you look like you're an insurance guy or something? I really don't want to deal with this right now.
We're not trying to sell you anything, at least not in the monetary sense.
Well, I hope you're not, because my wife died this morning.
Yeah.
Were you involved in that?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry if you all talk at the same time. I don't know. Why are you here? Who are you?
Well, we're the Clam Flat Boys. And we've got some questions.
I can see the TV series now.
God damn it.
All right.
All right, but straighten up.
He's like, questions.
From what I understand, you've been to Russia recently. Tell me, are you a communist sympathizer?
What did you do about that necklace? Did you happen to steal it from an old Russian lady?
What are you? How the hell could you know anything about?
We're the Clam Flat Boys.
We've got our connections, bud, and our red hot trail has been leading up to you. Now you need to tell us what exactly is going on and what you knew about that necklace.
Who the hell are you people? Get the hell out of my house.
Hey, before you push us out, I take out the letter with the letter to his lover.
No, you guys gave that back
We
to
gave
Mrs.
it back to her.
McTie.
Oh,
What?
okay.
You could still mention it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. What would Joanne think of this?
Joanne. And he
Lover in
steps
New York.
back and he's like, how the fuck do you know about Joanne?
Because we're the Clan Flat Boys.
Oh,
You should stop asking us what and start cooperating.
who the hell are you people? What? Get out of my house.
Are you deaf? We're the Clan Flat Boys. Like, I've tried all the dramatic emphasis.
It's fair. We come in here, we make these claims, we'll see ourselves out. But when the spectral bear appears tonight, you'll know you'll be sorry.
Who the fuck are you people?
I'll take my leave.
All right, I'm gone. He obviously, actually, can anyone do like a psychology roll to see if he's?
Yeah, can I
Knows
do
anything?
psychology? Especially trying to look into if he reacted when we started talking about Russian stuff. I don't know if I should name drop Velis or not. That's a 95, so I think Jason is actively, he's still just trying to keep from breaking it, saying Clan Flat Boys again.
Does anybody else want to do a psychology roll?
I'll do a psychology.
I'll do it.
I mean, but I'm not expecting. Yeah, 88. No way.
I think we're all just holding it together.
54. No,
I got a 70.
John,
Henry.
what our boys mean to say is that you are in very real, clear, and present danger. Allow me to explain. We know that you got this necklace from Russia. That's a fact.
What the hell does the necklace have to do with anything?
Well, if you'd listen, I could explain. You brought that back. We found it at the scene of the incident at your store.
Yeah, my wife took it out of my luggage and she claimed it as her own.
Right. Well, seeing as this was under suspicious circumstances with this evidence that we found on the scene, we gathered the evidence, we translated the documents that we found. I don't know if you're a superstitious man, sir, but we've got reason to believe that you're in danger because this item is cursed.
You translated what, the Russian thing?
Yes, sir.
You speak Russian?
No, sir. We got help.
I mean, I have no idea what it says. It came with the locket. It was, part of the provenance. What the fuck does this have to do with the damn locket?
All right, well, listen. That Russian document was a primary source tied to this necklace. It was from 400 or 500 years ago, and it was a journal of some Russian soldiers. Well, apparently this necklace is something of great religious importance in sort of the Eastern European cultures. And it's believed that these pendants were...
Look, you sound like you're the guy that sold it to me. He said that it, was an antique, and that it had something to do with, their pre-Christian religion. But I mean, I was going to have the documents. Why are we talking about this?
Because we're pretty sure you just bought a cursed object, and now your clam is baked,
Oh,
and we're here to stop it.
I've been in the jewelry business for a long time, and I've never run across any kind of cursed object. So I don't believe in curses.
All right.
That's good, because we do, and we are concerned citizens, and we are here to help, I promise. I know we're coming at you with a lot.
You're here to help what?
We're just trying to explain to you, sir, that we have reason to believe that the nature of this cursed item is very real and not just superstition. Two of us have seen an entity ourselves. That sounds crazy, but I don't know what to tell you besides you gotta just listen and trust us.
Is it getting close to sundown?
It's probably about 5:45.
Oh God.
What he just looks at you like you people are speaking a foreign language, and he's like, So you're like nut jobs who believe in magic, and you're here to warn me. Oh, what are you warning me about?
You have every right to believe that we are total wackos.
I do believe you're total whack.
All right, I think we should go. It's obvious that
I've already left.
Yeah, it's obvious that he had nothing to do with the death of his wife. So therefore,
Do you
it's not
say
gonna
that
be-
out loud?
No, I'm gonna say that to Earl.
I think, I mean,
Earl's-
I don't know for sure, but
Oh, so you say it as you go out the door, or you're outside when you say it? Okay.
So am I the only one left talking to him?
I left a while
I'm in
ago,
there.
dude.
I'm in there.
Yeah,
Like
Jason's in
by
there.
the time you started
great.
talking, I was gone.
So we're trying to tell him to trust us, but several of our group members are leaving and going, nah.
You know what? I'm gonna look at him dead in the eye and say, okay, we're gonna be honest here. Cut the crap. We came here because we had suspicion that you were involved in the death of your wife. But now we think that that might not be the case.
He definitely reacts to that and says, I need you to leave. Get out.
Understood.
He definitely goes from confused to a little terrified.
Can I roll psychology on him to see if he is
I don't think
involved?
you need to.
So he is involved.
Yeah, he had a rather strong reaction to that. You
Okay.
hadn't said anything about that before.
Well, good
We
job.
reconvene in the car.
Just remember, what goes around comes around. And I'm gonna
Yeah, well, he's obviously innocent, right? So
Tip
we should
my
just
hat.
go.
I'd like y'all to get out there into the darkness.
We're just putting out name drops, huh?
So, did you find anything out, Philip?
He
He seemed
closes
innocent.
the door rather abruptly.
Oh,
And when they get shoved
and-
out, we're already at the end of the sidewalk.
yeah. So he's guilty. Or-
It looks
Yeah.
like the son of a bitch did it.
Holy
Listen,
shit!
this
I told you.
Well, we got to define did it here because, like, he's clearly unaware of the more esoteric details here, but we think he's got malicious intent.
No, yeah, so he got
I'm a-
flagged on a technicality. I told you, he did the wife. It's always the husband that did the wife. Unless the husband's
Yeah.
dead too, then he did it beforehand.
Do a spot hidden, please.
I'm not spending the luck to make that.
89 failure.
That
Pass.
is, oh God, what's my spot hidden? Yes, it is a 49 under 50.
I
I
also
was
got a
hoping it was
49.
at 40.
So the sun is pretty low on the horizon, and you begin to notice. I mean, the second that he slammed the door, and you can hear it's wooden floors, so you can sort of hear. You hear him pacing very quickly back and forth. You think that he goes upstairs and turns on a light. You hear him coming downstairs rather quickly. He's walking and moving around the house like he's fucking upset about something.
Couldn't imagine what.
Oh, only a bunch of 5 weirdos going in and rambling at him.
You
got
didn't
the
appreciate
bastard
my
nailed.
nautical puns.
The sun dips below the horizon. 6 o'clock.
All right, let's get to the
Wait,
car.
hold on. Do you hear that?
No,
What?
Tell me you hear that.
I don't hear anything.
I'm not hearing anything, bud.
Oh, my hair. It's standing on my skin. You can't hear that. It's coming.
I don't.
I got a bad feeling about this, boys. Something's wrong.
Let's go back to
God,
the car where we've
fuck,
got
I'm gonna die.
our mirrors and
Just look at the mirror.
I'm going to curl up on the ground.
Pull yourself
He's
together,
coming.
man.
I'm going to hold a
Coming,
mirror in
man.
front of Hank. Like, Hank, it's okay. It's okay. Look, no bear. No bear.
I'm running back to the car.
I'm curled up in front of the car.
Okay.
Well, we brought our material.
Why can't you hear it? You saw the picture.
It's okay, Hank. I think I.
It's getting closer.
Hold on, who has the picture?
I've got the picture.
Too.
Okay.
You hear it?
Well, you
It's
probably
coming.
don't have the picture with you. You probably left the picture back in your.
Hank, maybe it's just a neighborhood dog. I don't know.
It's coming. Why can't you hear it?
What are you guys going to do?
I'm going back to the
Freaking
car.
out.
I'm going to sit inside with a hand mirror in hand, a wooden stick with cheesecloth at the ready in the other. But otherwise, I'm kind of hanging back.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go back in the car as well and get my throwing knife and light it on fire.
If we're all going to the car, yeah, and Hank is curled up out front, Jason is going to have a mirror and like trying to calm Frank, but keep rotating it around so he can keep seeing himself and everything around him. And just say, like, there's no bear. I can roll psychology to calm him down. I don't know.
Henry is going to grab Philip and Earl by like their coats.
Ooh.
And boys, do you hear that noise?
What noise?
Yes, I hear it. I hear it.
It's in the distance.
It's coming closer.
How close? How close?
I don't know.
Where's it coming from?
Well, I've got my lighter at the ready whenever it comes down.
It seems to be coming from the direction of the cemetery. I mean, that's quite a ways away from where you are here, but you can hear something moving swiftly in this direction.
Philip, Earl, Jason, why don't you hear this? It's coming.
I don't know. Maybe we were theorizing about the factor that lets us perceive it. Maybe whatever it is, I guess I'm just not good enough.
Stop theorizing. Act. Do something.
Okay. Hank's rambling. I think his only purpose at this point is to. I have a feeling that he might be in some serious trouble. So let's watch him and his surroundings.
I'm going for the paint bucket.
You guys gotta help.
Hank, did you wear your brown pants?
Everybody do spot hidden.
My God.
77 fail.
It's an 89.
Okay, I'm going to spend the 7 luck to pass.
Okay, you don't need to spend luck to pass. Hank got an 02.
Okay.
So Hank's. Are you still lying on the ground?
I'm getting back up because I was going for my
All right,
self-defense.
As you're getting back up, you suddenly point up at the second story of the house, and you notice that John is in the window, and he's looking out the window like he hears something as well.
Hopefully it goes for him first. Not to sound selfish.
Boys,
Gives us more time.
No, I think it is. I think it goes in order. You're okay. You're okay.
We can't waste this opportunity.
We're next.
We can't run
Henry,
from
this
it.
isn't the time
No,
to
he's
run.
next,
This is the
then
time
you.
to plant our
We
feet
have
down
time.
and solve the problem.
We
Listen.
don't know how fast it can go. Maybe we can outrun it in the car. We gotta get out.
No. It will, even if we outrun it, assuming what we know is true, it'll just keep hunting you for every night for the rest of your lives.
Yes, we can assume it follows.
So if the running is not an option, we do or die.
I don't know if I can do this.
It's time to
Well,
stand
then,
there.
leave
behind
and
you.
go get killed. So
Getting so much louder.
No, we got to stand together.
Should we make a
Something-
wall? It's coming from the graveyard, so
Something that stands out against the growing shadows. The sky is still red, but the sun is below the horizon. The streets themselves are shadowy. There are some streetlights, but here is a residential area. There's not much in the way of streetlights. Something way down the street, maybe a half a mile at the end of the block, has come around the corner, and it seems to be glowing purplish red, purplish blue. And you can see it's moving in this direction. I would like Philip, Earl, and Jason to do spot hidden rolls. No, do willpower rolls.
okay, power.
It's coming. There it is. Boys,
21.
Dude.
that is a 52 under 60.
I hate my life. I rolled 99 over 60.
How'd you do, Philip?
21 out of 50,
Okay.
I think.
So for the moment, Jason and Philip, you don't see anything, but suddenly Earl's like, I can see it. There it is.
Earl,
Sandy roll.
Yeah, you can do a sanity roll. In fact,
Okay.
Henry and Hank can do sanity rolls too.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so I wanted to fail. Wow.
Come on, clam flat boys, stick together.
65 out of 38.
I did
I failed.
pass 27 under 50.
Okay. So why don't you do a 1d4 sanity?
That is completely fair.
Do I get a D8, D10?
I lost 3.
Okay. So you are quaking in your boots.
Yeah, I lost.
I probably yelp.
Hank and Henry, did you fail?
I failed.
I passed.
Okay. So Henry, do a 1d4. Hank, do a 1d8.
So
Hell
I
yeah.
lost.
Let's go.
The
Let's
bout
lose
of
my
madness
shit.
risk.
That is a. Can I make it a 5 instead of a 3?
No, you can't. You can't
All
alter.
right.
Okay. So
I'll take 3.
you're trying to dig yourself a hole. You're terrifying. Everybody else, you'll see that they're terrified too. The thing runs like an animal, like a predator, and it's big. Like I say, about 7 or 8 feet at the shoulder, and yet it moves very swiftly, faster than any car could move down the street.
We're done for.
The front door of the house opens and John comes running out. He sees you on the lawn and he comes running over and he's like, "What is that noise?" And then he sees it and he's like, "My God, what is that?"
I told you, spectral bear.
I told you.
Run, John, run.
Okay.
Armageddon.
I am producing the hand mirror and holding it in front of me, and I'm scooting myself so I am right by Hank.
I'm getting the big guy out, the big mirror.
Okay.
For me?
I'm readying my shotgun.
Jason has the fisheye convex mirror.
Okay. Is that what everybody has, mirrors?
I also, in my other hand, I've got that wooden stick with cheesecloth on it I mentioned earlier, but it's not lit yet.
Okay.
Kill it. Kill it, boys.
There's a moment when John sees it and he's like, "My God," like this. And he runs towards his house and runs into the house and slams the door. And you can hear him probably running up the stairs or whatever. The creature, it's bolting forward almost like a galloping horse at this speed. You can see the blue flames sort of flying back from its eyes and its nostrils, and its mouth is open, and there's huge black fangs as it's running. I'm gonna do luck roll. Okay. It comes running up to where you guys are standing. And up until that moment, you're pretty sure that it was going to just bolt past you and go straight for that front door where John had gone through. But it notices your mirrors and it comes to an immediate halt and it starts moving forward and it's looking at itself for just a moment in the mirrors. What do you guys want to do?
Do it now. Light something, throw it at its heart.
All right.
I'm going to fire the double-barreled shotgun at its heart.
Okay. Go ahead and do firearms.
All right. Would this be point blank? Because he's...
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Bonus die for me, then.
Are you firing twice?
Yeah, on both barrels. That is a
That's-
19 out of 40, so that's a hard.
Nice.
I
So
can
there
make it
is
an
an
extreme.
Do you want to make it an extreme?
Yeah, why not? That's 9 points.
Okay. 9 points total.
Yep. No. Not 9 points of luck I spent, which is
I
going to be
see.
about 24 points of damage total.
Okay.
Actually, no. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
24.
is 12.
24.
6 times 4.
Okay.
For both barrels.
You almost rest the end of the barrels on the thing's side. In that moment, you realize that the creature is covered in a kind of thick, black, shiny hair that crackles with little bits of electricity as it's there. You fire and you blow a hole through the middle of it about 4 inches across, at least on your side, maybe 8 inches across on the other side. It splatters like this.
Holy shit.
It makes a huge noise so that, lights go on all up and down the street, and probably a few people are going to come out of their houses in a few moments. And then I'd like you to do a sanity roll as you watch the wound that you made simply go and close.
Excellent.
Is that for
Do
all the
Jason and
people-
Philip feel a wet splash that came out of nowhere?
Yeah, probably.
I fumbled.
So all of the people that can see the horse still, or the being, make the sandy roll? Or is it just Hank?
Just Hank, because he's looking right at the hole that he made disappear.
Okay.
Philip and Jason, do power rolls.
Can I just close my eyes? That is a crit
Jeez.
fail.
03.
Triple O.
Okay.
You got another
I
one?
still can't see it.
Yeah, I fumbled. as
So
well.
yeah, you can't see it, Philip. Jason, you see it clear as day. Once
Yeah,
that gun goes off, there it is, and it's right in front
I
of
wipe
you.
that ichor from my eyes, and I see it in front of me, and I wish I didn't.
How much
I'm
sanity
gonna-
did I
I'll
lose?
also roll sand.
I guess we're doing.
That's 38, so 1d4.
Correct.
That's 4.
Okay, so you jump back screaming. The thing has regarded itself for just a moment in the mirror until you shot it. And then it sort of makes a loud whelping noise as you hit it, like a dog that's been injured, for just a moment as it heals. And then it looks around at all of you as if for a moment it had been sort of hypnotized by your mirrors, and now it sort of shakes that off and leaps through the air, going straight at the front door of the house. It hits the front porch, and just the front porch begins to shatter as it barrels its way through the front door. The whole door frame and everything is just shattered as it runs in the house. You hear crashing and violent noises, and then you hear John up the stairs suddenly screaming out in terror as this thing, you can't see it, but you can hear it going up there. You hear the sound of rending. You hear John in agony, and then John goes silent as the thing throttles him, and you hear things smashing in the house. And then the sound stops for a moment. How are you guys going to do?
Reposition the mirrors.
We should get the mirrors ready. Yeah.
Did Hank take the sandy loss from his failure?
I did
don't
not.
remember.
Yeah.
Boys, it's coming for me now.
Jeez.
How
Well,
much sanity did I lose for seeing it reconstitute its own flesh?
Did you failed?
I crit failed.
Oh, wow. You take, we'll say you take 8 points of damage. Do an intelligence roll.
Okay, nice.
Fun time.
I failed that. Fortunately.
Okay, so you're mentally confused, but
Okay.
you're screaming hysterically.
I am indefinitely insane though, so.
It said firearm.
Listen, okay, so we guns don't work. We're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way, and I'm
Yeah.
going to light the cheesecloth. I'm not the best at throwing, but I'm gonna give it my best.
I'm going to scatter paint on the porch where it went inside, so I could hopefully at least see its footprints, because I could see that it smashed that, so it must be sort of just invisible.
Okay. So you splash paint on the porch.
Yeah, just so
Um,
I could see where it's walking.
Do a luck roll. I'm sorry, do a power roll.
Come on, I need this fail. That's 13. I
Okay.
never do fail this.
So what the rest of you see is you see Philip run up there and start spreading paint. And as he is splashing the paint and pouring it out onto the porch, the thing must have come back down the stairs, and it sticks its head out of the door, like literally right in front of Philip. And Philip's not reacting, so he can't see it. And the thing sniffs the air, and it starts to regard the four of you. What do you guys want to do?
Ready the mirrors.
I am staying by Hank with the mirror thrusted in front of us, and I've got the lit cheesecloth in the other hand, and I am waiting for it to get close, so hopefully my throw will be easier.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jason has got
Henry,
the mirror.
if you want, stick your cane in the gasoline tank. We'll light it.
Gasoline tank's way over there.
Oh, I thought we were standing in the car.
No, you're at the end of the.
No, we're in the house.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
No,
Can
you're
Jason,
You're at the
can
end
Jason
of the
run to the
driveway.
gasoline tank?
Sure. You want to run in front of a predator and see what happens? Okay.
Oh, I thought that it was house, us, car.
The
So
cars
if I
park-
run
the
to the
cars park a
car,
little bit away.
It's house driveway. You guys are at the end of the driveway.
Then
and
we'll
your car's
stick it
across
in
street.
in John's car. He's not going to be using it anymore.
Well, who's to say he's got a gas cannon there?
No, his
It's-
tank.
It's a maneuver, so it's going to take one round for you to do whatever it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
Henry,
yeah.
you've got a lightable object /
All right. I need to do let's see. There are four of you.
yeah, I'm running to the car to get gas.
Okay. Jason, you are in the fourth position. So as soon as you start to move to run, the creature reacts to your movement by leaping from the porch, smashing more of the porch as it goes. But it lands next to everyone else. Still, it's got itself trained on where Jason is running. What are you guys going to do?
Can I jump in front of it and try and put the mirror directly in front of its face?
Yes. Yeah, we'll call that a maneuver. So brawl.
Okay. I will spend 11 luck to make that a success.
Okay.
Regular success.
So you jump right in front of it as it comes, and there's a moment where it hesitates. It stops for just a moment, and then it lets out a sound like a wolf or a bear growling, and it reaches up one of its big gigantic claws and grabs the edge of your mirror and just flings it to the side. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Oh shit!
And now it's like right in front of you, and it looks like it's going to pounce right on your face with its jaws. You still have your flaming stick?
If it's about to pounce on me, I'm gonna like brace it in front of me. So if it lunges at me, that's when I'm gonna stick it.
Right. Do a what do we call it? A brawl.
Fail
By how much?
by 46 points. I couldn't even spend the luck if I wanted to. 96.
Okay, so you fall onto your back holding the flaming stick forward, but unfortunately you don't get a good aim. And as the thing sort of brings itself down on top of you with the flaming stick falls to the side. We'll say that it falls towards Henry. Unfortunately, it grabs a hold of your face with its jaws and shakes you like a dog shaking a rat, which I'll make it fair. It does. Oh boy, I didn't realize how much damage it actually does.
You might
I'll
roll
make it
low.
fair. Rolls 2d20.
It's probably like 46.
It does 9 points of damage to you.
I have 9 HP, so I am at
Okay.
0.
It
with a
snaps your neck.
major wound. Yeah.
No!
Oh,
Earl!
can I see? Did I get it with the paint?
What's that?
I
Yeah,
get it with the paint?
there's paint spread out where it moved.
All right. From the description, I'm gonna throw my flaming throwing knife at it.
Okay.
So that'd probably be with like a penalty, right?
Yeah, with a penalty.
All right. I got a pretty good throw. Okay. All right, I have luck. So it was 73, and my throw is
20 probably.
my throw is 60. So I'll spend 13 points to make it a regular.
Okay. How long is your knife?
I would say maybe like this big.
Okay. You successfully throw your knife. Your knife hits it and sinks almost to the hilt because you throw it pretty damn hard. You're scared shitless. And when that happens, the creature definitely reacts. It moves to the side. It turns and looks at you, and it howls.
Can I see it?
At that moment, it suddenly becomes visible to you, and it's looking you right in the eyes, and you get that definite feeling like you're next.
Roll sanity.
However, your knife is stuck in its side. You're thinking that it didn't penetrate far enough to get to the creature's middle, which would be its heart. Henry, the flaming stick has landed at your feet. What do you do?
All right. With all the effort that I can muster within me, I'm going to pick up the stick and I'm going to rush at the beast and try to puncture its heart.
Okay.
Is there a limit on the amount of luck points that you can spend?
No.
That's a bad question to ask.
No, some GMs say that you can spend 5 points, but I say you can spend as much luck as you want.
So I can spend 42 points of luck.
Yeah. Realize that you'll have 42 less points of luck the next round.
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm doing it.
And does that give you just a regular hit or?
Just a regular.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say that, that's a lot of luck to spend. So I'm going to say that you go so far as to place the tip of the flaming thing against it and then run forward and shove it in. You find that the hide of this beast, which should be somewhat resistant, at least it seems so to the other people that hit it, it doesn't resist very well. So it's almost like you're attacking, a fluffy pillow. At least that's what it feels like. And the tip of the spear, the flame disappears into it as you rush forward. And the thing suddenly pulls away from you. It screeches not screeches, it howls like a huge beast. It falls on its side and it begins kicking like an animal that's been deeply wounded.
That was the plan, Flat Boys.
What do the rest of you want to do?
Is it still, is the stick still in it?
Yes.
This is for Earl! I'm going to grab the stick and then ram it in even more.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
let's say
probably,
that
right?
in a matter of moments, as the creature howls, it the light of its blue eyes disappears. It slumps to the ground. It stops breathing, and then like a cloud of dust, it just sort of, and there's nothing there but your spear jammed into the ground. And your dead friend, one less dead accountant. So it's a good day. Um,
Earl!
Earl's there.
Earl is one of us.
And obviously, people call the police. And it's I'll let you in this case kind of tell me how the hell your story ends, because one of you is dead. John has been torn to shreds in the house. Though his whole house has been ransacked. Mrs. McTighe recognizes Philip. He's the one. And obviously you're going to be arrested.
So
yeah, I don't know
Jason,
what to say.
Yeah, Jason is going to be panicking, and I want to pull out all the stops using fast talk and persuade and hot gossip to just portray that like there was a black bear that came out of the woods, and we saw it in the area and we're concerned. That's why the neighbor saw Philip poking around, is we thought we saw it in there. We heard a ruckus after talking to what's her face, and there was a black bear inside his house. And as we came out to try and figure out what was wrong, it jumped us, and it latched right onto poor Earl's face, and it ran off before we could ever do anything. We tried to shoot at it, and it ran, and it scared it. Must have.
Well,
The claw marks can corroborate some of this.
yeah, it definitely looks like a wild animal did it.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where's the dead body?
The dead body? No, we scared off. It was a black bear. It must have ran off back into the woods. We thought we saw one around here.
Well, I wanted to roll to see if I buy your story.
Sure.
Because it really sounds ridiculous.
All right. Do you
No, I rolled a 99. So apparently I buy your story lock, stock,
Hell
and
yeah.
barrel.
I was going to say, I got a 60 in fast talk and persuade. I'm ready for this.
Nobody would possibly suspect you of any foul play.
No, we're good.
No, come
We're
on,
good, right?
Dave. I serve you and your wife and kids down at Magenta's. Like, you know me. I wouldn't be caught up in something like this.
And
The
that's
claw marks on
I think we need to
body.
honor Earl's memory over some New England steamers.
now
He's
there are
sleeping
only
with the fishes
solemn.
now.
Yeah, solemn New England steamers.
Yeah.
Or should I say sleeping with the clams?
all right, and that's the end of our story. So
Cue taps. Play taps.
You gotta bury him out on the clam flats.
So the one thing you didn't do in the story that would have been a little helpful, or at least helpful for your knowledge, would be you started to confront John, but you didn't continue. And the thing is that he was quite unstable at this point, and if you had continued to confront him, he would have broken down and told you what happened. And all of the stories that you got about him and his wife were true, that she lorded it over him and that he had a girlfriend now in New York that he was sleeping with, and he was ultimately going to go with her because, but he needed to find a way to get rid of his wife. So what he had done was he had told her, this would have been the night before, or rather early in the morning, let's say about 5 a.m. He woke her up and he said, I think that I left the power on in the shop. And of course she was pissed, that he would do something. And so rather than go back to sleep, she said, then we're going to go down there and, I'm not going to let you get away with such stupidity. She lorded it over him. So she took him down there. This was all part of his plan. They got there early in the morning. And what he did, she was looking around the shop like a normal person would in her case. And he went into the back room and he turned the power to the building off. So with the breaker, he turned it off. And then he opened up the gas main. And once he did that, he left the shop, got in his car, and went home. Well, she's in the front of the shop, And eventually she's like, what the hell are you doing back there? Where are you? And she went back there and he wasn't there. And she started looking around and smelling gas. And she went over to the breaker and flipped it on. And ba-boom.
Yeah.
So he had planned that all out. Now, he pretended to go to sleep. When the police came, he pretended to be shocked and horrified. The thing that was on his side in that case was he'd actually murdered somebody, and he really wasn't that kind of a person. So he really was shocked, and it wasn't hard for him to cry, but maybe it was a little bit cry of relief. In any case, he decided he was going to go to New York. So he packed up his stuff, and then he was really shaken. So he got in his car and he went for a drive, and probably cried a lot as he was driving. But by the time he got home, he had figured out a way to justify what he had done in his own mind, and that he'd be better off now. And then, of course, you nut jobs came in and started harassing him, and he really didn't know what the hell to do, because nobody could figure out that he'd murdered her. So it was all the stuff about the amulet. He didn't really. It's just a legend. It's just, a story that goes with that stupid piece of jewelry. He had bought the piece of jewelry and was going to give it to the girlfriend, but his luggage arrived before he did, and his wife found it and claimed it as her own, that he must have brought this home for her. So he is really pissed off and came up with a way to get rid of her. Unfortunately, it had a jewel of Belaz in it, and the creature was awakened, and it was immediately going to kill him, but it got stuck by the sunlight. And
so that's why the creature was moving slowly out of the shop.
It didn't quite know where he was, right?
Right. It was just doing its due diligence.
It was going to avenge her death because she was wearing the amulet. Now, the creature's an interesting one because it can't be harmed by normal weapons, which is why I healed it instantly from the thing. It can be harmed by magical weapons, but we don't really have many magical weapons in the story. What it needed to stop it was fire, in its heart. So that's kind of what you do with the flaming. It could be a flaming arrow or a flaming spear. What's really scary is that it will not stop. So theoretically, you could shoot it with a double barrel. Say you hit it in the head with a double barrel shotgun. You'd blow its head off. It would fall to the ground, and it would disintegrate. But as soon as the sun came up, or the sun went down the next day, it would reconstitute and come after you. So it really would never stop. But in this case, you killed it. And that's the story of what goes around comes around.
Excellent.
That was a good one.
That was really fun.
Any questions?
A lot of our lines in this made this sound like a cheesy horror movie.
You guys got really silly for a while there.
It was the Clam Flat Boys.
And Alex and Hank and Henry, I sent them a secret message that told them right at 6:00 to start hearing the thing, that it was getting closer and closer and closer. Cool.
Yeah, I was worried about that because I could not fail my power roll in order to see the fucking monster.
Yeah, I still love that the magician never saw the supernatural thing in front of him. So
yeah,
by magic.
Maybe he'd been so used to illusions that he just, I don't know. It's really, when it comes down to it in the game, it's just a matter of spot hidden, whether you can see it or not. And I've never had all of the players see it. So it's always some of the players that see it. I've never had none of the players see it. But I suppose somebody has to see it. Otherwise, there's no investigation.
It's a disaster.
Right. Our players included Shem Sabin, Alex Sun, Dan DePaulis, Max Meltzer, and Lex Hurley, with myself as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.